Chapter 28. Russell. Lin Jingtian's hands were vibrating in a strange rhythm. Eventually, the yuan qi in the air above the fighting ring was affected, making a buzzing sound. His eyes were filled with murderous intent. In the next moment, a fist wrapped in violent yuan qi shot out, aiming for Ningyu's head. In your next life, remember not to offend the Lin family. As if he could already see Ningyu's tragic death, Lin Jingtian's lips curled up, and he said coldly, "Hee, Lin Jingtian, why don't you do me a favor and let Ningyu go?" However, just as Lin Jingtian made his move, a hearty laughter came from afar. Today, Ningyu must die. Although the voice sounded familiar, Lin Jingtian's killing intent had been triggered. He would not allow anyone to save Ningyu. Damn it, if you dare touch him, you will be making an enemy out of Snow Pavilion. As soon as he finished speaking, Elder Hiroshi, who was beside Lu Wei, dashed out. A violent burst of yuan qi exploded, shattering the stone floor beneath his feet. His body moved like a ghost, his fingers clenched tightly. An extremely violent wave of yuan qi swept out, mercilessly attacking Lin Jingtian. Half a step into the true martial realm. Feeling such a strong wave of yuan qi, Lin Jingtian's eyes were filled with shock. Force him to retreat first, then kill Ningyu. Although Lin Jingtian was confident that he could kill Ningyu before Elder Hiroshi's attack reached him, he would have to pay a high price. He could be seriously injured by Elder Hiroshi. Although Elder Hiroshi was only half a step into the true martial realm, which was half a level lower than him, his strength was not to be underestimated. After all, Elder Hiroshi was an alchemist with a strong soul force. Cursing, Lin Jingtian temporarily gave up on killing Ningyu. With a wave of his sleeves, a strong wave of yuan qi suddenly swept out from his body. Pung! In the next moment, Elder Hiroshi could only taste sweetness in his throat. He was sent flying dozens of meters by the fierce yuan qi. His body landed heavily on the ground, and the stone beneath him was shattered by the violent aftershock. Shua! The sudden turn of events caused the expressions of the surrounding martial artists to change drastically. They stared dumbfoundedly at the old man who had fallen to the ground. Their mouths were slightly agape, but no words came out. Snow Pavilion. Elder Mo. Grade 3 Apothecary. Looking at the 3-star badge on Elder Hiroshi's shoulder, the surrounding people couldn't help but gasp. Originally, they were a little confused as to who had stepped forward to help Ningyu. Now it seemed that the truth was out. It was Elder Mo from the Snow Region Pavilion. It made sense. In Tianxian City, the only force that dared to go against the Lin family was the Snow Domain Pavilion. After defeating Elder Mo, Lin Jingtian did not kill Ningyu. Instead, he asked in a low voice, "Elder Mo, this is a matter between the Lin family and the Ning family. I don't think it's a good idea for you to interfere. After all, if Ningyu stayed there, he would not be able to escape." Elder Mo was the deacon of Snow Domain Pavilion in Tianxian City. Once he was offended, the consequences would be unimaginable. Therefore, even though Elder Hiroshi was forced back by a single move, it was not a big deal. Lin Jingtian did not dare to kill him. Cough, cough. After coughing twice, Elder Mo stood up from the ground. With a flick of his wrist, a golden badge appeared in his hand. On the badge, there were 3 stars flashing. 3-star badge. Seeing the badge in Elder Mo's hand, Lin Jingtian's eyes narrowed. Elder Mo said, "Yes, it is. Let me put it this way. Ningyu is now a 3-star deacon of Snow Domain Pavilion." Then, Elder Mo's tone gradually turned cold. He looked around and said coldly, "If the Lin family makes an enemy of young Master Ning, it means you are making an enemy of Snow Domain Pavilion." Whoosh! Elder Mo's words were like needles poking into Lin Jingtian's and Lin Zhen's hearts, making it hard for them to breathe. They did not have the guts to make an enemy of Snow Domain Pavilion. "Elder Mo, Ningyu killed my grandson. I cannot let him go like this," Lin Jingtian said in a low voice, unwilling to give up. Lin Feng was killed in a life-and-death battle with Ningyu. Life and death are up to fate. Since it was a life-and-death battle, one of them must have died. Elder Mo's face darkened. After he mentioned Snow Domain Pavilion, Lin Jingtian still did not know what was good for him. This made him very angry. But Ning Yu killed Lin Yang. Lin Jin said, "Umph. Master Lin, I think you know the rules of the fighting round better than me. As long as one side does not admit defeat, even if he is killed, he cannot blame anyone else." Elder Mo said, "Good, very good." Taking a deep breath, Lin Jingtian tried to calm himself down. He stared fiercely at Ningyu on the fighting stage and said coldly, "Ningyu, don't think that you are absolutely safe with Snow Domain Pavilion. There are many things in this world that you do not know." As soon as he finished speaking, Lin Jingtian's figure flashed, and he left the mysterious sky square. "Umph. The mountains will not change, and the rivers will continue to flow. Let's wait and see." As for Lin Jun, after leaving behind some pleasantries, his body flashed, and he led the members of the Lin clan away. After the Lin family members left, the mysterious sky square became lively again. "I can't believe that Ningyu actually climbed up to Snow Domain Pavilion. It's more than that. Didn't you hear what Elder Mo said? Ningyu is a 3-star elder of Snow Domain Pavilion. In Snow Domain Pavilion, only a true martial realm warrior or a 3rd-grade alchemist can enjoy the 3-star elder treatment, right? Ningyu is only at the early Hotian stage. Could it be? He is a 3rd-grade alchemist. Impossible. How old is Ningyu? At best, he is a 1st-grade alchemist. There is no way he is a 3rd-grade alchemist." Hee. This time the Lin family really suffered a double loss. They went for wool and came home shorn. Of course, 2 of the Lin family's geniuses were killed, but Ningyu is still standing on the fighting stage unscathed. As the Lin family members had left the mysterious sky square, the crowd dared to openly and boldly discuss. Swoosh! On the fighting stage, as he watched the Lin family members leave, Ningyu quietly placed the corpse lightning pill in his bosom and let out a long sigh. "Fortunately, my identity was exposed yesterday. Otherwise, Elder Mo would not have helped me today." Ningyu knew very well that Venerable Mo had made a move today because he found out about his identity and that he had an imaginary master. But no matter what, Elder Mo had saved his life. This was an indisputable fact. Looking at Elder Mo, Ningyu said seriously, "Thank you, Elder Mo. I will return this favor." Waving his hand, Elder Mo said, "It was nothing. Besides, it was the first mistress who asked me to help. If you want to thank someone, it should not be me." Bowing to Lu Wei, who had rushed over, Ningyu said solemnly, "I will try my best to contact my master about your elixir refining." Being stared at by Ningyu, Lu Wei blushed. Feeling a little embarrassed, she said in a low voice, "In that case, thank you, young Master Ning." Master Zhao, Master Wang's, this time, the Lin family has chosen to withdraw from the fighting round. Do you think we can continue with the remaining rounds? Chapter 29. It's all Lin Jun's fault. He actually changed the slots for his own personal gain. Now, Ning Hai won't let him go. After secretly slandering Lin Jun, Wang Qinian laughed dryly and said, "Ning family head, in my opinion, there is no need for the next match. Tao Er's cultivation is low, and he is no match for young Master Ning. We choose to admit defeat." Hua. Wang Qinian's words once again caused a commotion in the Tianxian Plaza. Wang Tao is at the peak of the early Hotian stage, and his strength is comparable to Lin Yang. Why would he admit defeat? If he doesn't admit defeat, will he be killed by Ningyu? Ningyu could even kill Lin Feng, who is at the advanced Hotian stage, let alone a mere early Hotian stage like Wang Tao. That's true. Wang Qinian knows how to adapt to the circumstances. Nodding his head in satisfaction, Ning Hai turned to Zhao Lai and said, "In the next match, Ning Yu versus Zhao Xian." Before Ning Hai could finish his sentence, Zhao Lai waved his hand and smiled awkwardly. "Xian is sick today. Therefore, we choose to admit defeat for the next match." Ning family head, something happened in the family. The Zhao family will forfeit today's martial arts round. Just as Ning Hai was about to speak, Zhao Lai continued, "The Wang family has chosen to forfeit as well." Wang Qinian echoed, "Since all 3 of our families have forfeited, the 5 slots for the martial arts round will all belong to the Ning family. The Wang clan and the Zhao clan forfeited. Doesn't that mean that the Ning clan obtained 8 spots for the Frost Caves test? That's right. 3 days ago, Ningyu won 2 slots. Today, he won 1 from the Lin family. In addition to the 5 slots for the martial arts round, the Ning family has a total of 8 slots for the Ice Cave. There are 8 slots for the Icy Cave assessment. As long as 2 of them pass the assessment and enter Danwu College, the Ning family will definitely dominate Tianxian City in the near future. 2 people pass the test. In my opinion, only Ningyu of the Ning family can pass the test of the Cold Ice Cave. Whether he can enter Danwu College is still unknown. The rest of a generation like Ning Xian and Ning who are too far behind. Soon after, the Zhao family and the Wangs fled the mysterious Tianxian Square with their tails between their legs under the watchful eyes of the crowd. At this point, Tianxian City's most majestic icy cave test had ended. The Ning family was undoubtedly the biggest winner, obtaining 8 test slots. At this moment, Ningyu's name would spread throughout Tianxian City and even the surrounding areas, becoming the object of praise. 3 days ago, Ningyu single-handedly turned the tide and seized 2 spots to enter the frozen cave. Now, he showed off his prowess and killed the Lin family's geniuses, Lin Yang and Lin Feng. Moreover, he took a blow from the innate intermediate stage Lin Jin head-on and was not seriously injured. Hence, for a long time to come, Ningyu would become an influential figure in Tianxian City. As for Ningyu, he followed the Ning family back to their home. In the meeting hall of the Ning family, Ning Hai sat at the head of the table, while Ning Tang sat on his left. In the hall, Ningyu, Ning Xian, and the rest of the younger generation stood side by side. Other than Ningyu, the rest of them looked excited. Cough, cough. After 2 dry coughs, Ning Hai said in a clear voice, "First of all, congratulations. You will represent the Ning family to participate in the assessment set up by Danwu College in Tianxian City, the Icy Cave Assessment." The excitement on their faces intensified when they heard the words Danwu College. However, they didn't forget who had helped them when the Frozen Cave's entrance exam. They all looked at Ningyu with grateful expressions. If it wasn't for Ningyu, they would not have this opportunity. Don't be happy too early. Ning Hai felt that there was a need to pour a bucket of cold water on them to prevent them from being arrogant and conceited. Let's not talk about whether you can pass the cold ice cave test first. Even if you can pass it, wanting to enter the Danwu Academy is not that easy. The icy cave assessment is only the most basic part of entering Danwu College. Ning Hai continued, there are countless big and small cities in the Xia Kingdom. Generally speaking, Danwu College divides the Xia Kingdom into 5 regions: East, West, South, North, and Central. Even if you pass the Icy Cave assessment in Tianxian City, you will need to stand out in the second assessment before you can enter the capital and participate in the final assessment. You don't have to worry about these things for now. The most important thing now is to cultivate and work hard to increase your strength. Ning Hai waved his hand and said, "Follow Ning Tang. Each of you will receive a supreme grade marrow cleansing pill and strive to break through to the acquired realm before the Icy Cave assessment in a month's time." Supreme grade marrow cleansing pill. Hearing Ning Hai's words, everyone, including Ning Xian, was very excited. They did not expect the family to be so willing to spend so much money to buy a supreme grade marrow cleansing pill. Usually, it would take some effort to buy a supreme grade marrow cleansing pill. This time, they bought 8 supreme grade marrow cleansing pills at once. "Let's go." Ning Tang stood up, said goodbye to Ning Hai, and walked outside. "Yuer, come with me to thank Elder Mo and the others. If it weren't for their help, you would have lost your life." After Ning Tang left, Ning Hai said, "Fortunately, your grandfather and Elder Mo are familiar with each other. Otherwise, the Ning family would have suffered a disaster today. Elder Mo also promised to sell us 8 supreme grade marrow cleansing pills. This time, we must thank them properly." Leaving the meeting hall, Ning Hai walked towards the living room. Ningyu followed behind him quietly. Since his father thought that Elder Mo saved him because of Ning He would not point it out. In the living room of the Ning family, Lu Wei seemed to be discussing something with Elder Imo. Miss, I'm sure the Lin family will not let this go, Elder Imo said with a slight frown. We must mobilize the forces of the Snow Pavilion in Tianxian City to protect Ningyu before the experts of the family arrive. Lu Wei paced back and forth. Her face turned cold, and a faint frost appeared on her pretty face. If the Lin family dares to attack Ningyu, kill them. Miss, mobilizing the forces of the Snow Pavilion in Tianxian City may be a little troublesome. Hearing this, Elder Imo hesitated for a moment and said, Recently, there's been a change in the Elixir Dragon Valley. All our forces in Tianxian City have entered the Elixir Dragon Valley. Right now, the only force we can mobilize is me. A change in the Elixir Dragon Valley. Lu Wei's face suddenly turned gloomy. She took a deep breath and said seriously, the Elixir Dragon Valley is also very important. We have to prepare for both sides. This time, thank you for your help, Elder Imo. Ning, thank you. At this moment, a hearty laugh was heard. Then, Ninghai walked into the living room. After entering the living room, Ninghai first bowed deeply to Elder Imo and said solemnly, Today, I, Ning, owe you another favor. From now on, if there is anything you need, just say the word, and I will go through water and tread on fire to help you. Brat, come and thank Elder Imo. Chapter 30. With Ninghai present, Ningyu bowed respectfully to Elder Hiroshi and said, Thank you for saving my life, Elder Hiroshi. With a flick of his wrist, a golden 3-star token appeared in his hand. Elder Hiroshi smiled and said, You are a 3-star guest of Snow Pavilion. We cannot watch you be killed. As he spoke, Elder Hiroshi handed the 3-star token to Ningyu. Elder Hiroshi knew very well that now was the best time to tie Ningyu to Snow Pavilion. As long as Ningyu received the 3-star token, he could report back to the higher-ups of Snow Pavilion and complete the first step. Once Ningyu became a 3-star guest of Snow Pavilion, coupled with the fact that he had helped him today, his master would definitely help him in refining the pill of good fortune. Elder Hiroshi, you must not. However, before Ningyu could take the token, Ninghai hurriedly said, It is enough that you saved Yu's life today. How could we dare to ask to become a 3-star guest of Snow Pavilion? Head of the Ning family, I have already announced Ningyu's status as a 3-star guest in Tianxian Square. Do you want Snow Pavilion to lose face? Elder Hiroshi looked displeased. If Ninghai was not Ningyu's father, he would have already flown into a rage. The reason why he came to save Ningyu was because Ningyu had a powerful master who could help Snow Pavilion refine the pill of good fortune. But fine. Seeing that Elder Hiroshi was a little angry, Ninghai swallowed the words that were on the tip of his tongue. Elder Hiroshi, it would be disrespectful to refuse this 3-star guest status, Ningyu said lightly after receiving the 3-star token. Goodbye. Seeing Ningyu take the 3-star token, Elder Hiroshi nodded and walked out of the living room with Lu Wei. I will see you out. Ninghai hurriedly got up and followed. As for Ningyu, he returned to his room. After today's battle, Ningyu knew that he was still very weak. Although he had already advanced to the early Hotian realm, he was strong enough to fight with a late Hotian realm martial artist. However, if he were to encounter a Xiantian realm martial artist, the consequences would be unimaginable. Power. If I had the strength of a Xiantian, or even a true martial realm martial artist, I would have killed that old bastard Lin Jingtian. Clenching his fists tightly, ever since his rebirth, Ningyu felt that he was not strong enough and urgently needed to improve his strength. With a flick of his wrist, a low-grade origin crystal appeared in his hand. Yesterday, I exchanged over a dozen low-grade origin crystals from Old Imo. Today is the perfect time to cultivate and strive to break through to the middle stage of the Hotian realm. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu slowly circulated the spirit transformation art. Strands of origin energy quickly swept out from the low-grade origin crystal and entered his body through Ningyu's palm. As Ningyu had taken a transcendent grade marrow cleansing pill during the body tempering realm, The blocked tendons and meridians in his body were unblocked. Currently, Ningyu is able to cultivate with twice the results with half the effort. The chi whirlpool in his sea of consciousness was slowly expanding. Kacha. Not long after, a piece of low-grade origin crystal shattered, and the origin energy within was completely absorbed by Ningyu. Reaching into his robes, he took out another piece of low-grade origin crystal. After all, there were over a dozen low-grade origin crystals. Therefore, Ningyu was not stingy at all. After using one, he immediately took out another. Sha. More than 10 pieces of low-grade essence crystals were quickly absorbed by Ningyu. Pung. When the last piece of low-grade origin crystal shattered, the chi whirlpool in Ningyu's sea of consciousness suddenly emitted a muffled sound and expanded by a full circle. Middle stage of the Hotian realm. Feeling the changes in the spiritual chi whirlpool, Ningyu let out a long breath. What close shave! Because if he lost another piece of low-grade origin crystal, he would not be able to break through to the middle stage of the Hotian realm today. To break through to the late stage of the Hotian realm, I will need at least a few hundred low-grade origin crystals. I must think of a way to buy some mid-grade origin crystals or even high-grade origin crystals. Frowning slightly, Ningyu decided to buy some mid-grade origin crystals. Because the origin energy within low-grade origin crystals was more chaotic and had a lot of impurities, using it for a long period of time would not only slow down one's cultivation speed, but it might even cause the realm to become unstable. Thinking of this, Ningyu immediately stood up and left the Ning family. Swoosh! Not long after leaving the Ning family, Ningyu's path was blocked by a middle-aged man. Ningyu, why are you in such a hurry? The middle-aged man asked. Lu Shan, staring at the middle-aged man's eyes, Ningyu was slightly surprised and said, "The residual medicinal power of the soul-devouring pill in your body has been dissolved." Hee, of course it has been dissolved. Smiling slightly, Lu Shan said proudly, "Ningyu, my family's young master wants to see you. I wonder if you can do him the honor." No, that's not right. Staring at Lu Shan's eyes, Ningyu felt that something was wrong the more he looked. In the end, he slowly shook his head and muttered, "This method is rather insidious. On the surface, it dissolved the residual medicinal power of the soul-devouring pill, but in reality, it transferred it to the heart." Although Ningyu saw the problem with Lu Shan's body, he did not point it out. Instead, he said calmly, "Lu Shan, if I'm not wrong, the residual medicinal power of the soul-devouring pill in your body was dissolved by your family's young master, right? It was my family's young master who dissolved it for me." Lu Shan said, "My family's young master is holding a banquet in the Drunken Cloud Inn. Ningyu, let's go. Let's go. I also want to see who has such great ability to cure the hidden illness in your body," Ningyu said. "Oomph. Let's wait and see." Snorting coldly, Lu Shan led the way in front towards the Drunken Cloud Inn. The Drunken Cloud Inn was the most famous inn in Profound Sky City. The Drunken Cloud Inn had a total of 4 floors. From the first floor to the 3rd floor, they were respectively called the Human Pavilion, Earth Pavilion, and Heaven Pavilion. Among them, the Human Pavilion had 16 private rooms, the Earth Pavilion had 8 private rooms, and the Heaven Pavilion had 4 private rooms. The 4th floor was the Supreme Pavilion, which only had 1 private room. It was rumored that since the establishment of the Drunken Cloud Inn, only 3 people in the entire Profound Sky City had ever entered it. The conditions to enter the Heaven Pavilion were also very harsh. Not just anyone could enter. Zhang Wenyong, I heard that Ningyu's strength is not bad. He can already kill late-stage post-celestial martial artists. You have to take it easy. In the Heaven Pavilion's number 2 private room, a youth in embroidered clothes waved the jade fan in his hand and said with a smile, "Profound Sky City is such a small place. How powerful can a late-stage post-celestial martial artist be?" Zhang Wenyong said coldly, "I can kill trash like Lin Feng with one hand. As long as Ningyu dares to come, I dare to show him who's boss." Zhang Wenyong, don't go too far. After all, Ningyu is the Snow Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. If you kill him here, Lu Wei will definitely be angry, Jifeng said. Kiki. At the mention of Lu Wei, Zhang Wenyong clenched his fists and made cracking sounds. I want to see what kind of divine being Ningyu is to actually be able to become the Snow Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator. Today, I want to check whether he has the 3 stars consecrated token or not. If he doesn't, no one can save him. Although Elder Mo publicly announced that Ningyu was the Snow Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator, in Zhang Wenyong's opinion, killing Ningyu was nothing. After all, he had just arrived at Profound Sky City today. Even if he killed Ningyu, he could say that he didn't know about Ningyu's identity. Zhang Wenyong, I really don't understand. With your identity as the Zhang family's 2nd young master, what kind of woman can't you get? Why do you only love Lu Wei? Jifeng said while waving the jade fan. I just like her. Zhang Wenyong said coldly. Whoever dares to snatch her from me will be my enemy. Actually, Zhang Wenyong had a sentence in his heart that he didn't say out loud. The Snow Pavilion's pavilion master only had one child, Lu Wei. Obtaining Lu Wei meant obtaining Snow Pavilion support. Chapter 31. In Tianxian City, a restaurant like the Drunken Cloud Brothel had guards in front of it. Lu Shan quickly walked to the guard and showed him a token. He then pointed at Ningyu and walked towards the restaurant. I didn't expect these 2 guards to be at the middle stage of the Ho Tian realm. Ningyu was shocked. Originally, he thought that the Drunken Cloud Brothel was just an ordinary restaurant. Now, it seemed that the power behind it was very strong. Even the Ning family and the Lin family, which were big families in Tianxian City, only had guards at the early stage of the Ho Tian realm. In front of a small restaurant, there were 2 middle-stage Ho Tian warriors guarding it. From this, it could be seen that the Drunken Cloud Brothel was not simple. Zhang. Ningyu's eyesight was very strong. Although Lu Shan had only shown the token for a bit, Ningyu could still see the big red words on the token. It seems that Lu Shan's family head should be surnamed Zhang. Frowning, Ningyu searched through his memories, but couldn't find any family with the surname Zhang in Tianxian City. Since he couldn't think of it, Ningyu didn't think about it anymore. There would always be a way out. Counter soldiers with arms and water with an earth weir. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu strode into the Drunken Cloud Brothel. Entering the Drunken Cloud Brothel, Ningyu saw Lu Shan walking straight to the 2nd floor. At the entrance of the 2nd floor, there were also 2 guards. However, these 2 guards' cultivation was higher than the previous one. They were at the late stage of the Ho Tian realm. Showing the token again, Lu Shan entered the 2nd floor. Since he was already here, Ningyu's face was solemn as he followed closely behind Lu Shan. After a while, they arrived at the entrance of the 3rd floor. Peak of the Ho Tian realm. At the entrance of the 3rd floor, 4 guards stood side by side. Their cultivation had reached the peak of the Ho Tian realm. Wait here, I will go and report. This time, Lu Shan's token didn't work well. One of the peak of the Ho Tian realm warriors shouted and turned to enter the 3rd floor. Not long after, the peak of the Ho Tian realm warrior returned and said to Lu Shan, "You can go in." "Yes, thank you." Although Lu Shan was also at the peak of the Ho Tian realm, he was still respectful and didn't dare to act rashly. "He could go in, you can't." Then, just as Ningyu was about to enter the 3rd floor, the post-liminary realm warrior who had just spoken blocked his way and coldly said, "The 3rd floor of the Drunken Cloud building is not a place that anyone can enter. Big brother, this is a guest invited by Zhang Shao, do you think?" Seeing Ningyu being stopped, Lu Shan hurriedly said. Drunt rules Lu Shan was Lu Shan. The guard said Lu 1-Shan, Shan Lu. The Shan is his Lu 1 smiley face Shan Lu Shan, this. Lu Kuten. Yun, 2 Shan, Lu, 1, Shan, Lu, Tian Realm Shan, 2 King Shan, Lu said 1. Yang, Tian Shan, Lu is, Ningyu wait here. I'll go ask young Master Zhang. As he spoke, Lu Shan did not dare to stay any longer. He quickly walked toward the Sky Tier Room 2. Ningyu shrugged and leaned against the staircase. Since the guards did not allow him to enter the 3rd floor, he would not force his way in. "Gentlemen, I would like to ask what are the conditions to enter the 3rd floor?" Ningyu asked since he had nothing to do. First, the Pavilion Master's invitation. Second, his status must meet the requirements, a guard said. What kind of identity and status are you allowed to enter the third floor? Ningyu asked calmly. The 4 clan heads of Tianxian City. The guard who spoke just now continued, and in the end he added, of course, a third-grade alchemist or a true martial realm cultivator is qualified to enter the third floor without the permission of the pavilion master. Oh, nodding his head, Ningyu chose to close his eyes and rest. Since young Master Zhang invited him here, he naturally wouldn't put him here. This was nothing more than a show of strength, and he didn't care. Look, isn't the one standing at the staircase of the third floor Ningyu? Ningyu? Which Ningyu is it? Even Ningyu doesn't know. The young master of the Ning family refined a first-grade elixir in the alchemy competition for the quota to enter the cold ice cave. In the martial competition, he even killed 2 geniuses of the Lin family. So it's him. What is he standing there for? Could it be that he wants to enter the third floor? That doesn't seem realistic. Even though he has become the most popular person in Tianxian City, he is still a little weak compared to the 4 clan heads. That's right. In my opinion, he wants to enter the third floor, but was stopped, so he's standing there in a fit of pique. After advancing to the middle stage of the Hotian realm, Ningyu's eyesight and hearing had increased a lot. Therefore, he could hear all these whispers. How could Ningyu lower himself to their level? He continued to close his eyes and rest. Ha ha! Young Master Ning has arrived. Please forgive me for not going out to welcome you. A moment later, a hearty laughter came from the third floor. Then, a young man walked out with a smile. He came to Ningyu's side and said with a smile, What? Do you want to do me the honor of coming in and have a seat? You are? Standing up, Ningyu asked. Oomph. Ningyu, this is my young master, Zhang Wenyong, young Master Yong. Lu Shan coldly snorted. Ha! A crisp sound was heard. Zhang Wenyong had slapped Lu Shan's face and angrily said, How can you speak to young Master Ning like that? Hurry up and apologize. Yes, yes. Lu Shan viciously looked at Ningyu and hurriedly nodded. There's no need. Young Master Zhang, may I know why you invited me here this time? Waving his hand to stop Lu Shan, Ningyu indifferently said, If there's nothing else, I'll return first. Invite you? You're not worthy. Zhang Wenyong cursed in his heart, but he did not show it on his face. Instead, he said, I heard that young Master Ning displayed great power in the competition for the slot to enter the ice cave. Even the advanced stage Hotian Realm Linfeng was no match for you. I've heard a lot about you, and specially came to pay a visit. If it's just a visit, I don't think it's necessary. We don't have any interactions anyway. This will only waste each other's time. Ningyu said, If that's the case. Hearing Ningyu's words, Zhang Wenyong's face turned cold. His whole body released his aura, and he coldly said, Are you not giving me, Zhang Wenyong, face? In the capital, those who do not give me face will not have a good ending. Threatening me? Raising his eyebrows, Ningyu was a little displeased. He did not know Zhang Wenyong's identity, nor did he know where he came from. He did not offend Zhang Wenyong, right? But from Zhang Wenyong's behavior, it seemed as if he owed him a few hundred yuan. But from Zhang Wenyong's tone, he should have come from the capital. Moreover, his family's power was not weak in the capital. It could even be ranked at the top. I did not dig up his ancestral grave. Is there a need to be so ruthless? Ningyu was also very clear that before he found out Zhang Wenyong's true identity, he had to be very careful. If you must feel that way, then just treat it as a threat. Chapter 32. Not only are you threatening me, but you also want me to be your slave. Hearing this, Ningyu's expression darkened as he said coldly, Today, I will not give you any face. What can you do to me? From the aura that Zhang Wenyong emitted, Ningyu was certain that Zhang Wenyong was at the peak of the post-liminary realm. Zhang Wenyong was only 18 or 19 years old, but he was already at the peak of the post-liminary realm. Since he came from the capital, he was naturally very powerful. What can I do to you? Zhang Wenyong finally revealed his fangs and claws. Don't think that you are invincible just because you killed that trash, Linfeng. To tell you the truth, I can kill trash like Linfeng with one hand. TSK, I didn't think that the famous young Master Ning of Tianxian City could not even enter the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Pavilion. How sad. Zhang Wenyong curled his lips and said, "Forget it. Since you do not have the ability to enter the third floor, I will not lower myself to your level. Otherwise, I will lose my identity." Waving his hand, Zhang Wenyong turned around and walked towards the second room. Ningyu did not expect Zhang Wenyong to suddenly make such a move and was stunned for a moment. He did not think that Zhang Wenyong would be so kind, because when Zhang Wenyong left, he secretly signaled to one of the guards. This action was very subtle, but it was still noticed by Ning Yu's sharp senses. TSK, who is that? How dare he speak to Ning Yu in such a manner? Didn't he say it just now? In the capital, anyone who does not give Zhang Wenyong face will not have a good ending. From this, it can be seen that he is from the capital. This time, Ning Yu is in deep trouble. He offended a genius from the capital. Even if he has the support of Snow Domain Pavilion, it will be hard for him to get anything out of this, right? Zhang Wenyong is quite generous to not lower himself to Ning Yu's level. Of course, Ning Yu does not even have the qualifications to enter the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Pavilion. How can he be Zhang Wenyong's opponent? This move is indeed vicious. Ning Yu knew very well that the moment he left Drunken Cloud Manor today, this fearful reputation would fall. In the future, no matter what he did, he might be looked down upon. Even if he were to go to the capital in the future, his actions would definitely be exposed, and it would be detrimental to his cultivation in Danwu College. Hence, he must go to this Drunken Cloud Inn's third level today. Moreover, he had to enter openly. On the fourth floor of the Drunken Cloud restaurant, a man sat upright. He picked up the tea on the table and took a sip. Not bad. This tea should be the Drunken Cloud tea. I didn't expect this old man to have so much face, to be able to receive such high treatment. Hee. Elder Guan must be joking. My father has warned me 1,000 times that if I neglect Elder Guan, my father will definitely kill me. Opposite to Senior Guan sat a woman who was about 20 years old. She had black hair and crescent moon-like eyebrows. Her slender and bright face set off her natural beauty. I came in a hurry this time, so I only brought the Drunken Cloud tea. The next time Elder Guan visits Drunken Cloud Manor, my father will definitely bring out the Crouching Dragon Drunk tea to entertain Elder Guan. Little girl, you are such a sweet talker. With a smile, Elder Guan asked, "Why didn't your father personally come to the Elixir Dragon Valley this time?" "Recently, there's been some turmoil in the family. Father really can't leave," the young woman replied. "It's not a bad thing that he didn't come. Based on my observations these few days, I discovered that the Elixir Dragon Valley is not the abode of an alchemist. At best, it's the abode of a fifth-grade alchemist," Elder Guan said after taking another sip of tea. "Elder Guan, a fifth-grade alchemist is naturally not attractive to an alchemist like you, but to us, it's already beyond our reach," the young woman said. Nodding, Elder Guan said, "That's true. There's nothing wrong with the younger generation coming here to gain experience." Then Elder Guan changed the topic and said, "Recently, I found a good seedling in Tianxian City. I believe he will also enter the Elixir Dragon Valley. When that time comes, I hope that you can help me keep an eye out for him. I don't want anything to happen to him." "Oh, who is Elder Guan talking about?" The young woman's eyebrows twitched. She was a little surprised. Since Elder Guan said he was a good seedling, his alchemy talent was certainly not bad. Even in Danwu College, only a few could enter Elder Guan's eyes. She didn't expect that in this small Tianxian city, there would be an alchemy genius that Elder Guan had taken a fancy to. He seems to have run into some trouble. Right now, he is at the entrance of the third floor. Elder Guan tapped the table with his finger and said lightly, "He should be stopped." Who dares to do this? How dare he stop the person that Elder Guan has taken a fancy to? The young woman's face turned cold. She was about to stand up. However, Elder Guan waved his hand and gestured for her to sit down. "You don't need to go. That kid is now a Snow Pavilion's 3 stars elder. He is qualified to enter the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn." Snow Pavilion's 3 stars elder. This time, the young woman was no longer calm. Even her pretty face was filled with shock. She understood the identity of a Snow Pavilion's 3 stars elder. He was either a true martial realm or a third-grade alchemist. Elder Guan was an alchemist, so the former was definitely impossible. Then it could only be the latter, a third-grade alchemist. In the end, who had such a high talent in alchemy, to be promoted to a third-grade alchemist at such a young age? One had to know that even she had barely reached the level of a second-grade alchemist. Little girl, I know what you were thinking. Elder Guan was a smart man. How could he not see through Xiao Yunlan's thoughts? Sometimes, Elder Guan really envied old man Xiao Yunlan because he had a 19-year-old daughter who had reached the level of a second-grade alchemist. Every time they were together, Elder Guan would be ridiculed. Little girl, Ningyu is not a third-grade alchemist, nor is he a true martial realm martial artist. In order not to hurt Xiao Yunlan, Elder Guan said, I told you, he is a good seedling. With a little training, his achievements in alchemy will be limitless. I know. Elder Guan, you really scared me. Xiao Yunlan patted her plump chest, rolled her eyes, and said, but I am looking forward to seeing this Ningyu. What kind of divine being is he that Elder Guan thinks so highly of him? Shua. At the same time, at the entrance of the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn, Ningyu flicked his wrist, and the 3 stars token of the Snow Pavilion appeared in his hand. Can I go in now? Taking back the token, Ningyu said lightly. What did you just take out? Take it out and let us confirm. Because Ningyu's speed was extremely fast, even if the 4 guards were at the peak of the Hotian realm, they still couldn't see it clearly. One of the guards knew Zhang Wenyong's identity. At that time, the owner of the Drunken Cloud Inn had warned him not to offend him. Zhang Wenyong's order was his order. Therefore, the guard didn't dare to offend Zhang Wenyong. He could only use Ningyu as an example. Give us that token, we want to check it. Humph, who do you think you are? How dare you doubt the authenticity of the Snow Pavilion's token? With a cold snort, Ningyu's face became gloomy. Even if your owner is here, he wouldn't dare to talk to me like this. Chapter 33. He, who is so arrogant that even I don't dare to talk to you like that. When this light laughter rang out, the slightly noisy Drunken Cloud restaurant instantly quietened down. The middle-aged man's speed was not fast, but it was very rhythmic, approaching Ningyu step by step. Late stage Xiantian. Feeling the aura of the middle-aged man, Ningyu's face turned serious. It's Pavilion Master Song. Didn't Pavilion Master Song leave this morning? Why did he come back now? I'm afraid he's here for Zhang Wenyong. More or less. Zhang Wenyong comes from the capital, so his family's power is definitely not weak. It's natural for Pavilion Master Song to come back personally. After a short silence, some warriors finally started discussing. But due to the deterrence of Pavilion Master Song, they did not dare to discuss loudly, but whispered. You are Snow Pavilion's 3-star guest? Coming to Ningyu's side, Pavilion Master Song said lightly, take out the token. Let me check. Being able to become the Pavilion Master of Drunken Cloud Inn, Song Fei was not an ordinary person. Although he felt that Ningyu was bragging, he still had to check to be sure. Early this morning, Song Fei left Tianxian City for some matters, so he did not know about Ningyu's 3-star guest status. If he knew that Elder Mo had announced that Ningyu was Snow Pavilion's 3-star guest, he would not have such an attitude. After all, no one wanted to offend a 3rd-grade pill master in Tianxian City. Since the Pavilion Master of Drunken Cloud Inn was here, Ningyu reached into his robes, wanting to take out the token. Pavilion Master just now. At this moment, a guard hurried in front of Song Fei and whispered a few words. Gradually, Song Fei's face darkened, and in the end, he even stared coldly at Ningyu. With a wave of his sleeve, Song Fei said coldly, You cannot enter the 3rd floor. Hearing this, Ningyu also felt that there was no need to take out the token, so he asked in a deep voice, Why? Is Snow Pavilion's 3-star guest not qualified to enter the 3rd floor? Snow Domain Pavilion's 3 stars consecrator is naturally qualified to enter the 3rd floor. But today's situation is a bit special, so the 3rd floor is already full. Song Fei said, If you don't mind, you can go to the 2nd floor, the 1st room. Song Fei was not stupid. Compared to Ningyu, Zhang Wenyong's status was much higher. Putting aside the authenticity of Ning Yu's identity as a three-star elder of the Snow Pavilion, even if it was true, he was still worlds apart from Zhang Wenyang. Just the title of the second son of the Zhang family in the capital was something that Ning Yu could not hope to achieve. Besides, Zhang Wenyang was also a strong contender for the position of the Zhang family head. If he succeeded, he would be an existence comparable to the Manor Lord. How could Song Fei dare to offend him? So, after weighing the pros and cons, Song Fei decided to help Zhang Wenyang. Of course, the Snow Domain Pavilion was also a colossus that could not be offended. Therefore, Song Fei settled for the next best thing. He wanted to arrange for Ning Yu to enter the first Earth Room. What if I insist on entering the third level today? Ning Yu asked with a frown. Humph, you don't know what's good for you. With a cold snort, Song Fei revealed his whole body's aura and crazily pressed down on Ning Yu. In Song Fei's opinion, giving Ning Yu the first Earth Room was already very generous. He did not expect him to be so ungrateful. According to the rules, my status is enough to enter the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Tower. Resisting the pressure of Song Fei's Xiantian Advanced Stage aura, Ning Yu said, Rules? Ha ha ha. As if he had heard the funniest joke in the world, Song Fei laughed wildly. Then, he changed the topic and said, In the Drunken Cloud Tower, my words are the rules. How about this? If you insist on entering the third floor, it is not impossible. Take one move from me. Stretching out a finger, Song Fei smiled evilly and said, As long as you can take one move from me, I will allow you to enter the third floor, and I will also invite you to the first heaven room. Swoosh! Within the second heaven room, Ji Feng waved his jade fan and said, Zhang Wenyang, aren't you going a bit too far? If that little demon, Xiao Yunlan, finds out that you used Song Fei to suppress Ning Yu, the consequences will be very serious. The corners of Zhang Wenyang's mouth couldn't help but twitch when he heard Ji Feng mention the little demon, and then he said, I did not do that kind of thing. It was all Song Fei's own decision. Speaking of which, I am really looking forward to it. Ning Yu was able to become a 3-star revered of Snow Pavilion, so he should have some trump cards. Today, he resisted a move from Lin Jin head-on. Ji Feng said, How can a patriarch of a small family compare to Song Fei? Zhang Wenyang regained his composure and said, Don't worry, I have a sense of propriety. A piece of high-grade origin crystal made Ning Yu lie in bed for a year. Even though it is a bit of a loss, it is worth it for Lu Wei. The first heaven room. Song Fei has some guts. He actually wants to invite someone to the first heaven room. A thin man in his mid-20s said coldly, It's okay. That young man's cultivation is only at the middle stage of the Hotian realm. It will be a bit difficult for him to resist a move from Song Fei. A young man in light blue clothes waved his hand and said lightly, Even if I use my full strength, I can't say that I can resist a move from Song Fei. Young master, is Song Fei really that strong? The thin man was a little surprised. The thin man knew the young master's strength very well. If the young master did not have the confidence to resist a move from Song Fei, then that Ning Yu would definitely not have an advantage. Song Fei's cultivation is at the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Moreover, he has practiced the Thunder Fist to initial success. His strength is enough to compete with a warrior at the peak of the Xiantian realm. The young man said, I guess that Song Fei will not use his full strength. Once he uses his full strength, Ning Yu will definitely be killed. Song Fei doesn't have the guts to kill a 3-star revered of Snow Pavilion. Wow! Song Fei's words directly caused an uproar in the Drunken Cloud Inn. Does Ning Yu dare to take a move from Song Fei? It's hard to say. After all, Ning Yu took a move from Lin Jun today. In my opinion, he should agree. How can Lin Jun compare with Song Fei? One is at the middle stage of the Xiantian realm, and one is at the late stage of the Xiantian realm. Even 3 Lin Juns are not a match for Song Fei. Even if that's the case, Song Fei's words are too much. Ning Yu will definitely not tolerate it. Even if you can't tolerate it, you have to. If you can't bear it, then it's very likely that you will suffer a setback today. Many warriors were very clear that Lin Jun and Song Fei were not on the same level. Being able to take a move from Lin Jun might not necessarily be able to take a move from Song Fei. The gap between the middle stage and the late stage of the Xiantian realm was very big. Ning Yu was silent. He did not agree immediately. He was weighing the pros and cons, seeing that Ning Yu was silent. Song Fei thought that he did not dare to agree. He remembered that Zhang Wenyong had promised him high-grade yuan crystals. He quickly said, "How about this? I will only use 30% of my strength to deal with you." Chapter 34. 10 mid-grade yuan crystals. Am I seeing this correctly? That's 10 mid-grade yuan crystals. Song Fei is really willing to spend so much just to exchange blows with Ning Yu. Is he not afraid of failing miserably at such a simple task? This is a sure win situation. Ning Yu will not be able to receive even one move from Song Fei. Even if it's only 30% of his strength, it's still impossible. 10 mid-grade yuan crystals. Looking at the yuan crystals in Song Fei's hand, Ning Yu's eyes narrowed as he said in a low voice, "I agree." If it was only to enter the third level of the Drunken Cloud Inn, Ning Yu would not have agreed so readily. After all, Song Fei was a late-stage Xiantian expert. His strength was not something that Lin Jun could compare with. Right now, Ning Yu was in urgent need of yuan crystals. 10 mid-grade yuan crystals were extremely attractive to him. With these 10 mid-grade yuan crystals, he could reach the late-stage Xiantian realm before the icy cave test. Haha, straightforward indeed. I'll leave these 10 mid-grade yuan crystals here. As long as you can receive one move from me without collapsing, they're yours. With a loud laugh, Song Fei placed the 10 mid-grade yuan crystals on the ground and gestured towards Ning Yu. Ning Yu knew that this was not the place to exchange blows. Hence, he walked towards the first level. The first level of the Drunken Cloud and had an incomparably wide lobby. "It's not too late to back out now," Song Fei said as he pulled away from Ning Yu. "Make your move." Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu secretly adjusted his condition to its peak. "Good, I admire your courage." Giving a thumbs up, Song Fei's hands moved rhythmically. Around his hands, some yuan energy gathered. Rushing Thunder Fist. Seeing the changes in Song Fei's hands, a sharp-eyed warrior exclaimed, "It's actually the Rushing Thunder Fist. This time, Ning Yu is in danger." Rushing Thunder Fist? Song Fei's famous technique. A low-grade profound, ranked martial skill. Song Fei has already trained the Thunderbolt Fist to the realm of initial success. Even if it's only 30% of his strength, with Ning Yu's cultivation, it's impossible for him to block it. What? Didn't Song Fei say that he would only use 30% of his strength? How did he use the Thunderbolt Fist? Is it the Rushing Thunder Fist? The surrounding exclamations didn't cause Ning Yu to panic in the slightest. He quickly formed hand seals with his palms, and yuan qi quickly gathered around his palms. Seeing Ning Yu's actions, Song Fei raised his eyebrows in surprise. Because he discovered that the speed at which Ning Yu condensed essence qi was not the slightest bit inferior to his. It had to be known that his cultivation was at the late Xiantian realm. How could the speed at which he gathered origin energy be inferior to a Houtian realm martial artist? It must be a mental cultivation method to condense origin qi. It should be a high-grade, profound rank mental cultivation method, or even higher. At this moment, Song Fei seriously examined Ning Yu. Ning Yu is indeed worthy of being a 3-star exalted of Snow Domain Pavilion. He had cultivated a high-grade, profound rank mental cultivation method at the Houtian realm. If your cultivation had reached the Xiantian realm, then perhaps 30% of my strength wouldn't be able to harm you. But now, 30% of my strength is more than enough to defeat you. In the next moment, Song Fei rose from the ground, clenched his right hand into a fist, and fiercely punched at Ning Yu's chest. Buzz! Song Fei's speed was extremely fast. The howling wind from his fist forced the surrounding air to scatter. Netherworld Samsara Palm. First palm, absolute dust. Facing the rapidly approaching Song Fei, Ning Yu did not dare to be the slightest bit careless. He quickly gathered the essence, gathering hand's essence into his wrist. Then, He rapidly revolved the spirit art within his body, mobilizing all the essence, gathering Han's essence into his right palm. Shua. After the essence gathering on his palm reached a certain degree, Ningyu pushed out his palm. The violent essence gathering Han brought with it a howling wind. An illusory palm print was faintly discernible. Middle Hotian Realm. Ningyu's cultivation has reached the Middle Hotian Realm. This morning, he was at the early Hotian Realm. Only a few hours have passed, and he has actually reached the Middle Hotian Realm. This is too incredible. Perhaps Ningyu's cultivation was at the peak of the early Hotian Realm this morning, and he just happened to break through to the Middle Hotian Realm today. Although Song Fei and Zhang Wenyong knew that Ningyu's cultivation had reached the Middle Hotian Realm, the people in Drunken Cloud Brothel did not know. They did not have the eyesight of Song Fei and Zhang Wenyong. Therefore, now that they felt the fluctuations of Ningyu's aura, they were somewhat shocked. Young Master, is this Ningyu really only at the Middle Hotian Realm? The two men in the number 1 private room looked at the scene in the lobby through the window. The thin man said with some shock, even an ordinary late Hotian Realm martial artist would not be able to make such a palm strike, right? He is indeed at the Middle Hotian Realm. The young man who was called Young Master nodded and said, to be able to become a 3-stars consecrator of the Snow Pavilion, he naturally has some skills. But to block Song Fei's fist, it will be a little difficult. That's right. If he can block Song Fei's fist, doesn't it mean that his talent and strength are similar to Young Master's? The thin man said. Zhang Wenyong stood at the entrance of the 3rd floor, looking at Ningyu with great interest as if he was facing a formidable enemy. Ji Feng, according to you, how long do you think Ningyu will be better than this time? 1 year? 2 years? Zhang Wenyong said with a smile. Zhang Wenyong, Ningyu's palm strike is very powerful. Maybe he can block Song Fei's fist with 30% of his strength. Ji Feng was not as optimistic as Zhang Wenyong. Haha, Brother Ji worries too much. Zhang Wenyong smiled mysteriously and said, do you think Song Fei will only use 30% of his strength? Could it be that Song Fei will use his full strength? Ji Feng looked at Song Fei with a thought. 50% of his strength. Ji Feng was shocked by what he saw. He realized that Song Fei had secretly increased the strength of his fist to 50%. Fighting Ningyu with 50% of his strength, there was no need to say who would be the final winner. Sha. Song Fei's fist appeared in front of Ningyu in an instant, aiming for his chest. As the fist gradually approached Ningyu, Song Fei seemed to see a high-grade yuan crystal waving at him. The corner of his mouth curled up unnaturally. Bang! However, just as Song Fei's fist was about to come into contact with Ningyu's chest, an illusory palm print suddenly appeared in front of his fist. A muffled sound rang out. His fist and the illusory palm print collided head-on. Song Fei's expression changed because he realized that the strength of the illusory palm print was about the same as 50% of his strength. Damn it! Song Fei cursed in his heart. His face gradually darkened. For safety's sake, he broke the agreement and used 50% of his strength so that he could defeat Ningyu in one move. Who would have thought that his Thunderbolt fist, which was 50% of his strength, could not even touch Ningyu's chest? If news of this were spread, how could he establish himself in Tianxian City? Thinking of this, Song Fei gritted his teeth and unconsciously increased the strength of his fist. 60%. Chapter 35. What? They are evenly matched. This is impossible. How could Ningyu block Song Fei's Rolling Thunder Fist? The Rolling Thunder Fist is a lower profound level martial skill. Yes, Song Fei has already achieved initial success in the Rolling Thunder Fist. It is impossible for Ningyu to block it. Don't forget, Song Fei only used 30% of his strength. Plus, Ningyu has advanced to the middle stage of the Ho Tian stage. It is not impossible for him to block one move. At this time, Ningyu's face was solemn. He even had the urge to curse. After fighting with Song Fei, no one knew better than him how much strength Song Fei had used. Although he did not use his full strength, Ningyu was sure that Song Fei had used more than 30% of his strength. Old fox, you don't keep your word. Cursing, Ningyu clenched his teeth. He crazily gathered yuan qi and injected it into the illusory palm. 60% of my strength is not enough to repel you. If so, Song Fei's eyes were cold. He stamped his right foot on the ground, shattering the jade stone floor. I will use my full strength. In the next instant, primordial qi surged out of Song Fei's body and gathered on his fist. I did not expect Ningyu to be so strong. He actually forced Song Fei to use his full strength. In the Sky Number 1 private room, the young man's expression finally changed. He stood up with his swoosh. The rushing thunder fist at the initial realm is extremely powerful. Young master, no matter what, Ningyu is a 3-star guest of Snow Pavilion. We have a good relationship with Snow Pavilion. Do you want to? The thin man beside the young man said. No need. However, before the gaunt man could finish his sentence, he was interrupted by the young man. Song Fei won't kill him. At most, he'll be bettered in for a few months. There's no need for us to be peacemakers. At the entrance of the 3rd floor, Ji Feng's face was solemn. He could not help but say, Zhang Wenyong, Song Fei used his full strength. Will something happen? The corners of Zhang Wenyong's mouth curled up. What happened? Song Fei knows what he's doing. He won't kill Ningyu. After thinking about it, Ji Feng still felt that something was wrong. He said, right now, Song Fei is in a fit of anger. I'm afraid he won't know when to stop. Ji Feng, he's just a 3-star consecrator of the Snow Pavilion. Is it really necessary to kill him? Shrugging, Zhang Wenyong said, if it wasn't for Lu Wei, I would have killed him myself. Ha! Inside the Supreme Pavilion, Elder Guan's face darkened. He slammed the table and shattered the jade cup. Elder Guan, what made you so angry? Xiao Yunlan was shocked. He had never seen Elder Guan so angry before. He asked carefully, How dare you? How dare you attack Ningyu with your full strength? Old Guan stood up with a swoosh, and an angry expression appeared on his face. Actually, when Song Fei appeared, Elder Guan's sharp soul power had already sensed him. However, he did not stop the fight between Ningyu and Song Fei. In Elder Guan's opinion, even though Song Fei had achieved initial success in the Rolling Thunder Fists, it was still impossible to defeat Ningyu with only 30% of his strength. Elder Guan had seen how powerful Ningyu was. Not to mention 30%. Even if Song Fei used 50% of his strength, he might not be able to defeat Ningyu. Therefore, Elder Guan was not worried. He no longer used his soul power to observe the situation in the lobby. However, just now, when he accidentally released his soul power, he realized that Song Fei had used his full strength. Elder Guan. Seeing Elder Guan stand up, Xiao Yunlan hurriedly said, Let me handle this. No need. I will go there myself. Waving his hand, Elder Guan walked toward the door. Boom! However, before Elder Guan and Xiao Yunlan could leave the Supreme Pavilion, an earth-shattering explosion came from the lobby. On the 1st floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn, Ningyu's body fell backward and hit the wall hard. The hidden force that came from his chest made Ningyu's expression change. He spat out a mouthful of blood. On the other hand, Song Fei took a few steps back, but he was fine. Sigh, he lost. I knew it. How could Ningyu block one attack from Song Fei? That's right. This time, Ningyu lost. I think he won't be so arrogant in the future. Ningyu isn't bad either. Song Fei also took a few steps back. Sigh. Ningyu, is there a need for you to do this? Earlier, I only used 10% of my strength. If I had used 30% of my strength, you would have been killed long ago. Song Fei sighed softly. Song Fei didn't use 30% of his strength. He only used 10% of his strength. No wonder he took a few steps back. So that's why. I thought Ningyu was so strong. It seems like the gap between him and Song Fei is like heaven and earth. In the past, Ningyu had seen shameless people. However, he had never seen someone as shameless as Song Fei. He used his full strength, but he said it in such a dignified manner. He didn't even blush when he lied. Ignoring Song Fei, Ningyu suppressed the hidden force in his body and walked to the 3rd floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn. Looking at Ning Yu's actions, the crowd was dumbfounded. It can't be. Ning Yu still wants to go to the third floor. Does he think he hasn't embarrassed himself enough? It's nothing to lose to Song Fei. If he doesn't know how to endure, his achievements in the future will be limited. Ignoring the ridicule from the crowd, Ning Yu dragged his heavy steps to the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn. Song Fei didn't stop Ning Yu's actions. Instead, he frowned, not knowing what Ning Yu wanted to do. But very quickly, Song Fei's face changed. Ning Yu came to the entrance of the third floor. He bent down and picked up the 10 middle-grade crystals on the ground. Following that, Ning Yu grinned at Song Fei and said, "Thank you, Pavilion Master Song. It would be impolite for me to refuse these 10 middle-grade crystals." "Ning Yu, you don't know what's good for you." Song Fei clenched his fists and gritted his teeth. "Pavilion Master Song, didn't you say it before? As long as I'm able to withstand a single move from you, these 10 mid-grade origin crystals are mine. Could it be that you're going to go back on your word?" Ning Yu was still calm and collected, and he wasn't angered at all. "You." Song Fei pointed at Ning Yu and said angrily, "I only used 10% of my strength earlier, not 30%. Since you don't know what's good for you, how about we compete again?" "Pavilion Master Song, there are so many people watching here. It's not like I asked you to use 10% of your strength. Are you going to go back on your words now?" Ning Yu's face turned cold, and he finally showed some anger. He said coldly, "I don't need you to invite me to the first room, but don't tell me you don't intend to give me 10 mid-grade origin crystals. I've said it before, I only used 10% of my strength just now. If you want the mid-grade essence crystals, then take another move from me." That was 10 pieces of mid-grade essence crystals. It was naturally impossible for Song Fei to hand them over to Ning Yu. Chapter 36. Pavilion Master Song, aren't you going a little overboard? However, not long after Pavilion Master Song finished his words, 2 young men walked out from the Sky No. 1 booth. One of the young men said indifferently, "If I'm not wrong, you didn't use 10% of your strength just now, but your full strength, 100% of your strength." Swoosh! The young man's words caused the entire Drunken Cloud Inn to boil. Everyone turned to look at Song Fei, wanting to see his attitude. "Young Master Wu, you were in the booth just now, so you might not know what happened outside." With a gloomy expression, Song Fei said, "I did use 10% of my strength against Ning Yu, not 100%. "Oh, is that so?" Young Master Wu rolled his eyes and said, "How about this? I'll give you a chance. Use another 10% of your strength, and if you can defeat Ning Yu, then I'll get back the 10 middle-grade origin crystals from Ning Yu for you." "Are you serious?" Song Fei's eyes lit up. "Absolutely," young Master Wu said indifferently. "Young Master Wu, right?" Looking at the young man, Ning Yu's expression was somewhat displeased. "What right do you have to ask me for 10 middle-grade origin crystals? How dare you?" The skinny man beside young Master Wu said coldly. Waving his hand, young Master Wu said, "I was rude just now. What I meant was, as long as Song Fei can defeat you, I'll give you 10 middle-grade origin crystals." Not interested. Keeping the 10 middle-grade origin crystals, Ning Yu slowly walked towards the first floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn. "Wait." However, just as Ning Yu took a few steps, Zhang Wenyong scolded, "Ning Yu, as long as you can withstand another 10% of Song Fei's strength, I'm willing to give you another 10 middle-grade origin crystals." Ning Yu stopped in his tracks after hearing Zhang Wenyong's words. "How is it, Ning Yu? That's 10 yuan crystals, enough for you to train for a year." Seeing Ning Yu stop walking, Zhang Wenyong said with some satisfaction, 10 mid-grade origin crystals. "Zhang Wenyong, are you trying to dismiss a beggar?" Turning around, Ning Yu looked at Zhang Wenyong and said, "If you can block one move from Song Fei, I'll give you 10 mid-grade origin crystals. How about it?" After saying that, Ning Yu walked downstairs. Damn it! Cursing inwardly, Zhang Wenyong was extremely furious. 20 mid-grade origin crystals. Ning Yu continued downstairs as if he hadn't heard anything. 50 mid-grade origin crystals. Zhang Wenyong gnashed his teeth and said. Ning Yu did not stop. 1 high-grade essence crystal. Zhang Wen's courage was not light. Today, even if he had to use crystals, he wanted to let Ningyu and Song Fei exchange blows again. However, Ningyu continued forward. 10 upper-grade origin crystals. Zhang Wenyong roared, and the aura of his whole body was revealed, crazily suppressing Ningyu. Peak of the post-liminary realm. No wonder he's from the capital. His age is about the same as Ningyu's, right? He's actually at the peak of the post-liminary realm. Originally, I thought that Ningyu was an absolute genius. Now, compared to Zhang Wenyong, it's like heaven and earth. At this moment, Ningyu finally stopped in his tracks. He turned around and looked at Zhang Wenyong, completely unafraid of the aura of the peak of the post-liminary realm. Stretching out a finger, Ningyu said 100 high-grade origin crystals. As long as you can take out 100 high-grade origin crystals, I'm willing to exchange blows with Song Fei again. Fine, 100 it is. I only hope that you'll be alive to take it. Zhang Wenyong sneered and waved his sleeve. Instantly, a small storage pouch appeared in his hand and said, "There are 100 high-grade origin crystals in here. As long as you can block one blow from Song Fei, they are all yours." Ningyu is overestimating himself. He wants to block one blow from Song Fei? Impossible. Definitely impossible. If I'm not wrong, Ningyu is already injured. No matter what happens today, Ningyu is doomed. He has completely offended Zhang Wenyong. "Elder Guan, do you think I should?" Xiao Yunlan said at the entrance of the Supreme Pavilion. "No need. Let's wait and see. Song Fei's one attack with 10% of his strength. Ningyu should be able to block it." Waving his hand, Elder Guan signaled Xiao Yunlan not to make a move. Originally, Elder Guan came out in anger, but when he arrived at the entrance, he realized that Song Fei's attack with all his strength did not harm Ningyu. Thus, he relaxed. 100% of his strength was not enough to defeat Ningyu. It was not hard to imagine that one attack with 10% of his strength would not be able to harm Ningyu. Plus, Elder Guan knew that Ningyu still had a trump card that he had yet to use. Soul Suppression. Once Ningyu uses Soul Suppression, Song Fei will not have a good time. Take out 100 high-grade origin crystals. I want to confirm. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said, "For 100 high-grade origin crystals, Ningyu is willing to take the risk. With 100 high-grade origin crystals, he could buy a lot of medicinal ingredients and concoct medicinal pellets to help him increase his cultivation." Walala, Zhang Wenyong poured out the storage pouch. Immediately, with a clattering sound, 100 high-grade origin crystals appeared on the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn. Wow, 100 high-grade origin crystals. If I had one, I would have a high chance of breaking through to the advanced stage of the postnatal realm within a year. In your dreams, how many demonic beasts do you have to kill to exchange for one high-grade origin crystal? Zhang Wenyong is so daring. He is not afraid of being robbed. Robbed? Who dares to offend Zhang Wenyong? At least in the big Tianxin city, no one dares to offend him. How can I believe you? If I can block one attack from Song Fei, are you really willing to give me these high-grade origin crystals? Frowning, this was what Ningyu was worried about. After all, Zhang Wenyong came from a big family in the capital, and he was alone. In his current state, even if Zhang Wenyong did not give him the origin crystals, he could not do anything. "Ningyu, you don't have to worry about this." Just then, young Master Wu spoke. "I will keep these 100 high-grade origin crystals for now. As long as you can block one attack from Pavilion Leader Song, I guarantee on my honor that they will be yours." Ningyu, quickly thank my young master. Beside young Master Wu, the thin man said, "My young master has a good relationship with Snow Pavilion. Since he said he would help you, he will definitely help you." "Wu Yong, are you really going to interfere?" Zhang Wenyong said coldly. "Zhang Wenyong, why do you have to do this? There must be a fair person in a battle." Wu Yong smiled. "Fine, I want to see what ability Ningyu has to take away these high-grade origin crystals." Zhang Wenyong clenched his fist and said in a deep voice, "Since young Master Wu is willing to help, Ningyu will thank you in advance." Cupping his hands at Wu Yong, Ningyu turned to Song Fei and said, "One attack with 10% of my strength. What do you think, Pavilion Leader Song?" "Humph. You are looking for your own death. Don't blame me. With a cold snort, Song Fei made a pleased gesture and said, I held back just now, but I will not hold back now. Song Fei noticed that Ning Yu's chest was heaving up and down, and his breathing was a little chaotic. He concluded that Ning Yu was seriously injured. Chapter 37. You don't need to hold back at all. You can't do anything to me with just 10% of your strength. Ning Yu appeared in front of Song Fei and said calmly, arrogant. With a furious roar, Song Fei dashed out and dashed toward Ning Yu at shocking speed. Flowing cloud steps. It's the flowing cloud steps. A sharp-eyed warrior exclaimed. Flowing cloud steps? Could it be a middle-grade, mystic-level movement skill? That's right. It's a middle-grade, mystic-level movement skill. The warrior who spoke earlier said, Song Fei's speed is much faster than Ning Yu. Now that he's using the flowing cloud steps, Ning Yu won't be able to catch up. Wu Yong, how confident do you think Ning Yu will be able to block Song Fei's attack? Zhang Wenyong asked with a smile. Not bad, not bad. Looks like Song Fei doesn't want to lose. He's even using a middle-grade, mystic-level movement skill. Wu Yong nodded and said, although he's using the flowing cloud steps, I think Ning Yu has a 50% chance of blocking Song Fei's attack. Oh, you're so optimistic about Ning Yu. Raising his eyebrows, Zhang Wenyong said, his speed is inferior to Song Fei's, and Ning Yu doesn't even know when Song Fei will make his move. In a situation where he is completely unprepared, putting aside the fact that Song Fei only used 10% of his strength, even if Song Fei used half of his strength, Ning Yu would still be unable to withstand it. Wu Yong frowned slightly when he heard Zhang Wenyong's words. No wonder Zhang Wenyong dared to bet 100 high-grade yuan crystals. It turned out that he had a card up his sleeve. In the lobby, Ning Yu slowly closed his eyes and secretly used his soul strength. He knew that he was no match for Song Fei in terms of speed, and he couldn't block Song Fei's attack because he didn't know when Song Fei would attack. But he had a way, and that was soul strength. Since his soul power had recovered to the 3rd grade, Ning Yu was able to determine when Song Fei would make his move. Look, Ning Yu was dumbfounded. He actually closed his eyes. He's like a dead pig that's not afraid of boiling water. Song Fei's speed is very fast. Ning Yu knows that he can't stop him this time, so he closed his eyes and admitted defeat. Ning Yu, do you think that I won't attack you if you close your eyes? You're too naive. The corners of Song Fei's mouth curled up, and he instantly appeared behind Ning Yu. He punched out, bringing with him waves of killing intent, aiming for Ning Yu's shoulder. Song Fei wasn't that stupid. If he said he would use 10% of his strength, he would use 10% of his strength. He secretly increased his strength and displayed 20% of his strength. Song Fei could not help but laugh, as if he had seen Ning Yu's miserable state when he was chopped down. Young master, Song Fei, the thin man beside Wu Yong said. I'm fine. Wu Yong could naturally see that Song Fei did not use 10% of his strength. However, now wasn't the time to offend Zhang Wenyong. 20% of his strength, so be it. It made no difference anyway. In his opinion, Ning Yu's defeat was inevitable. Swoosh. However, in the hall, just as Song Fei's fist was about to hit Ning Yu's shoulder, Ning Yu turned around with a swoosh. What? Song Fei did not expect Ning Yu to react so quickly. He was momentarily stunned. It's not good to be distracted now. With a faint smile, Ning Yu threw out a punch first, and it collided with Song Fei's fist. Damn it! Song Fei cursed under his breath. He immediately reacted and wanted to increase his strength, but he realized that Ning Yu's palm and his fist separated immediately. At the same time, Ning Yu's body retreated. Ning Yu's action made Song Fei dumbfounded, and he stood rooted to the ground. What was going on? Before he exerted his strength, Ning Yu actually retreated? However, what Ning Yu said next made him want to vomit blood. Pavilion Master Song, 10% of your strength is still too weak. It can't do anything to me, Ning Yu said calmly as he steadied himself. What? Did Song Fei use his full strength just now? How could Ning Yu block his move so easily? More or less. Looking at Ning Yu's appearance, he still has some strength left. Look at Zhang Wenyong. In an instant, everyone's gaze turned to the third floor of the Drunken Cloud Inn. Zhang Wenyong's face was ashen, and he clenched his fists tightly. He stared at Song Fei with an urge to kill. If he did not know that Song Fei had used 10% of his strength, he would have suspected that Song Fei and Ning Yu were putting on an act to cheat him of his 100 pieces of origin crystals. Zhang Wenyong, many thanks. Arriving at the third floor, Ning Yu was about to put away the 100 pieces of origin crystals. However, Zhang Wenyong said coldly, "Wait, you can't take these origin crystals away." Hearing Zhang Wenyong's words, Ning Yu's face darkened. Although he blocked Song Fei's move by trickery, Ning Yu's strength had decreased by half right now. It was basically impossible for him to be Zhang Wenyong's match. Furthermore, there was Ji Feng, who was equally powerful by the side. Zhang Wenyong, there are wins and losses in a bet. You can't be a sore loser, right? Since he said he would help Ning Yu, Wu Yong naturally would not sit idly by. Humph! Wu Yong, you said I can't afford to lose. With a cold snort, Zhang Wenyong said furiously, "Forget about 100 pieces of origin crystals, even if it's 1,000. I, Zhang Wenyong, won't even blink an eye. These 100 pieces of high-grade essence crystals. Just take it as me giving him alms." With that, Zhang Wenyong turned around and walked towards the Sky Room 2. Zhang Wenyong, wait for me. Ji Feng and Lu Shan followed closely behind him and entered the Sky Room 2. After Zhang Wenyong left, Wu Yong took out a small storage bag. With a wave of his hand, the 100 pieces of origin crystals were all put into the storage bag. Many thanks. I'll return the storage bag to you when I get home. Receiving the storage bag, Ning Yu said, "Haha, it's just a storage bag. What's the harm in giving it to Brother Ning?" Laughing loudly, Wu Yong said, "If Brother Ning has nothing else, would you like to have a chat in a room? Since Brother Wu invited me, how could I dare to decline?" Ning Yu said. After all, Wu Yong had helped him. He remembered this favor and would definitely return it in the future if there was a chance. Moreover, after probing the storage bag with his soul force, he found that there was a cubic meter of space inside. A storage bag with a cubic meter of space had a market price of around 10 pieces of origin crystals. For Wu Yong to give it to him so generously, it could be seen that this person was not simple. All right, let's go. Being able to meet Brother Ning today, this trip was not in vain. Wu Yong turned around and made an inviting gesture. Damn it. Seeing Ning Yu and Wu Yong walking towards the Sky Room 1, Song Fei's face was extremely gloomy and livid. How did he know that I would attack from behind? Until now, Song Fei still did not understand how Ning Yu could determine the direction of his attack. Could it be a fluke? After thinking about it, Song Fei felt that it was too unrealistic. If it was a fluke, then Ning Yu's luck was too good. Chapter 38. Damn it. Damn it. Song Fei made me lose 100 high-grade essence crystals for nothing. In the second Sky Room, Zhang Wenyong's face was ashen as he said angrily, "This is unforgivable. Zhang Wenyong, you can't blame Song Fei for this." Ji Feng waved his jade fan and said, "Ning Yu is indeed strong. If I were to fight him, I would not be able to win without using 80% of my strength." Oh, Zhang Wenyong raised his eyebrows and said, "You also think that trash Ning Yu is strong? Hee, I have to say that in terms of strength, he is qualified to be on equal footing with us." Ji Feng laughed. "Humph, be on equal footing with us? He doesn't deserve it." Zhang Wenyong snorted and said, "You and I both have our trump cards. Once we use them, even 10 Ning Yu won't be enough to kill us." Zhang Wenyong and Ji Feng came from big families in the capital. This time, they brought a lot of magical items and pills with them to the Elixir Dragon Valley. Other than magical items and pills, each of them had a way to protect themselves. Even if they encountered a peak Xiantian realm martial artist, they would be able to defend themselves. "Lu Shan, you are from Tianxin City. Introduce Ning Yu to me," Zhang Wenyong said. "Young master, 3 days ago, Ning Yu's cultivation was only 5th layer body tempering realm. But 3 days later, his cultivation rose like a rocket, advancing to early stage Hotian realm. No, it should be mid-stage Hotian realm. Lu Shan said hurriedly. 3 days to advance from 5th layer body tempering realm to mid-stage Hotian realm. Lu Shan, you'll be punished for lying. Ji Feng was shocked. If what Lu Shan said was true, then Ning Yu was really a genius. Even in the capital, other than the #1 genius, Xiao Linxian, no one could advance so quickly. Lu Shan, is what you said true? Zhang Wenyong said coldly, his aura pressing down on Lu Shan. With a plop, Lu Shan knelt on the ground and said, Young master, what I've said is the truth. 3 days ago, Ning Yu's cultivation was indeed at the 5th layer of body tempering realm. Furthermore, he even set up a death match with the young master of the Lin clan, Lin Feng. Zhang Wenyong, I think there's something fishy about this. Frowning slightly, Ji Feng said, 3 days ago, Ning Yu must have concealed his cultivation. It's impossible for him to be at the 5th layer of the body tempering realm. It's extremely likely that he's at the early stage of the Hotian realm. Zhang Wenyong nodded and said, That's true. Ning Yu wouldn't have dared to challenge Lin Feng to a life-and-death duel if he hadn't been at the early stage of the Hotian realm. After all, Lin Feng was at the middle stage of the Hotian realm at that time. At the side, Lu Shan secretly heaved a sigh of relief. Rolling his eyes, Lu Shan said, Young master, in profound Sky City, Ning Yu's strongest point is not his cultivation, but his attainments in alchemy. Seeing that Zhang Wenyong did not speak, Lu Shan continued, 3 days ago, Ning Yu successfully refined a first-grade qi gathering pill. It's just a first-grade qi gathering pill. It's nothing much. Zhang Wenyong waved his hand and said, Young master, I inspected the pill that he refined at that time. It's a supreme grade pill. Lu Shan continued. What? This time, Zhang Wenyong was not as calm. He stood up in a flash and said, Are you sure it's a supreme grade qi gathering pill? Actually, it was no wonder that Zhang Wenyong was shocked. Even though the qi gathering pill was a first-grade qi gathering pill, to be able to refine a supreme grade qi gathering pill, it was enough to show that one's attainments in alchemy were profound. Zhang Wenyong himself was a second-grade intermediate alchemist. With his current ability, he would need to refine 10 batches of qi gathering pills before he could refine a supreme grade qi gathering pill. What level of alchemist is Ning Yu at now? Zhang Wenyong asked in a low voice. He should still be a first-grade alchemist. Lu Shan said, Not bad, not bad. At such a young age, not only can he fight against Song Fei, who is in the advanced phase of the Xiantian stage, his attainments in alchemy are also profound. The corners of Zhang Wenyong's mouth curled up slightly. Zhang Wenyong, don't tell me you want to spar with him? Ji Feng knew Zhang Wenyong's personality. He would never allow someone of the same generation to surpass him in both alchemy and martial arts. In the capital, among the younger generation who had yet to enter Danwu College, the only one who surpassed Zhang Wenyong in alchemy was Xiao Yunlan of the Drunken Cloud Villa, and there were not many who surpassed him in terms of martial arts. Hee, of course I want to spar with him. Zhang Wenyong smiled and said, Ning Yu is indeed not simple. To be able to see through Lu Shan's hidden illness, he might just be able to be my opponent. At the same time, in the first sky booth, Brother Ning, I did not expect you to be so powerful. I'm impressed. Wu Yong said, Brother Wu, you must be joking. If I'm not wrong, your cultivation should have broken through the limits of the Hotian stage. Ning Yu glanced at Wu Yong and said casually. Hearing this, Wu Yong was extremely shocked. 3 days ago, he had just taken an innate elixir to break through to the early stage of the innate realm. Moreover, he had hidden it with the help of the powerhouses in his family. According to the powerhouses in his family, unless one's cultivation had reached the true martial realm, no one would be able to see through his real cultivation. How did Ning Yu find out? Although he was shocked, Wu Yong did not show it. Instead, he said, Brother Ning, I will not beat around the bush. This time, I only have one purpose in coming to Tianxian City, and that is to enter the Pill Dragon Valley. The movement in the Pill Dragon Valley, this time, should attract many powerhouses. Ningyu knew a little about the Pill Dragon Valley, but he did not know much. Hee, brother Ning. According to the secret information, the Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of a fifth-grade alchemist. Wu Yong laughed. Wu Yong continued, the Pill Dragon Valley is divided into the inner valley and the outer valley. There are no restrictions on entering the outer valley. As for the inner valley, only martial artists below the age of 22 are allowed to enter. Of course, it is not easy to enter the inner valley through the outer valley. Wu Yong said solemnly. So, I want to form an alliance with Brother Ning. With our strength, we can definitely enter the Pill Dragon Valley's inner valley together. Wu Yong, are you looking for an ally now? Why don't you consider me? At this moment, a voice sounded from the door of the Sky Series 1 booth. Zhang Wenyong pushed the door open and walked in. Behind him, Ji Feng and Lu Shan followed closely. Wu Yong, in my opinion, the two of us should form an alliance. It will be enough to sweep the Pill Dragon Valley and the Outer Valley, Zhang Wenyong said proudly. Then, Zhang Wenyong looked at Ningyu and said, as for him, he will only be a burden. There is no need to bring him along. Brother Wu, what's wrong today? Why are there so many flies? Ningyu looked around and asked. Damn it, Zhang Wenyong said coldly. How dare you call me a fly? Ningyu shrugged and did not comment. Zhang Wenyong, you are not welcome here. Please leave. Wu Yong knew that Ningyu was injured and was a guest he had invited. Naturally, he would not allow a conflict to break out between him and Zhang Wenyong. Wu Yong, I'm not here to look for you. I am here to look for Ningyu. Pointing at Ningyu, Zhang Wenyong said, I heard that Lu Shan has an unmentionable illness. You also noticed it? Chapter 39. Zhang Wenyong, I don't think I have anything to do with Lu Shan. Ningyu said lightly. Besides, I already told Lu Shan to come find me in 3 days. Hee. Ningyu, aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Zhang Wenyong laughed. Can you really cure Lu Shan's hidden illness? Are you kidding me? A mere first-grade alchemist wants to get rid of the soul-devouring pill's residual power? Dream on. So, the soul-devouring pill's residual power in Lu Shan's body was expelled by you? Ningyu said. Of course. Zhang Wenyong raised his head proudly. If I didn't discover it in time, Lu Shan would have died long ago. How could he live until now? Thank you, young master. Lu Shan hurriedly thanked. Waving his hand, Zhang Wenyong said to Ningyu, let's put Lu Shan's matter aside for now. I heard that you are very accomplished in alchemy. Why don't we have a competition? Zhang Wenyong, are you sure you want to compete with me? Ningyu asked. In fact, Ningyu had long discovered that Zhang Wenyong's soul force was very strong, reaching the 2nd grade. If he guessed correctly, Zhang Wenyong should be a 2nd-grade alchemist. Even Zhang Wenyong's rank was slightly higher than Snow Pavilion's Lu Wei. Of course, let's compete to see who can refine a 2nd-grade medicinal pill, the cleansing marrow pill. Raising his eyebrows, Zhang Wenyong said, as for the bet, let's make it 100 upper-grade essence crystals. Zhang Wenyong always wanted to take back the upper-grade essence crystals that he lost to Ningyu. He knew that with Wu Yong around, he couldn't use force, so he could only think of a way in alchemy. Observing Ningyu again, Zhang Wenyong had absolute confidence in winning, because he discovered that Ningyu's soul force was only at the peak of 1st grade. It hadn't reached the 2nd grade. How could he refine a 2nd-grade medicinal pill if his soul force hadn't reached the 2nd grade? Ningyu, you must not agree. Beside him, Wu Yong hurriedly persuaded. Zhang Wenyong is a middle grade 2 alchemist, and the assessment for him to advance to a grade 2 alchemist is to refine a baptizing marrow pill. At that time, he refined a high-grade baptizing marrow pill. Humph! Ningyu, it's not too late to regret. Zhang Wenyong coldly snorted as he glared at Wu Yong. We can compete in alchemy later. As for now, let's discuss the residual medicinal power of the soul-devouring pill in Lu Shan's body. Ningyu smiled at Wu Yong, indicating that he knew his limits. Ningyu, have you lost your mind? The residual soul-devouring pill medicinal strength in my body has already been thoroughly expelled out of my body by young master. What are you still discussing for? Lu Shan said in surprise. Ningyu didn't say anything. He just stared at Zhang Wenyang. Did he discover something? Being stared at by Ningyu, Zhang Wenyang felt a little guilty. But after thinking about it, he felt that it was somewhat impossible. After all, the method he used was extremely covert. Only someone with a strong soul force would be able to discover the situation in Lu Shan's body. He didn't believe that Ningyu's soul force was so strong. In his opinion, Ningyu was bluffing. Lu Shan, press your lower abdomen with your hand, then gather all the yuan qi in your body into your dantian. Ningyu said without batting an eyelid. Lu Shan didn't do as he was told. Instead, he looked at Zhang Wenyang. After Zhang Wenyang nodded his head, Lu Shan then followed Ningyu's method. Puqi. However, just as the yuan qi gathered into his dantian, Lu Shan spat out a mouthful of blood. His face was somewhat hideous. Ningyu, what did you do to me? Feeling the pain from his heart, Lu Shan gritted his teeth. Nothing much. I just stimulated the residual soul-devouring pill medicinal strength in your heart. Ningyu said, what? There's still residual soul-devouring pill medicinal strength in my body. Lu Shan was greatly shocked. He hurriedly looked at Zhang Wenyang and exclaimed, Young master, is what Ningyu said true? At this moment, Zhang Wenyang's face was ashen. He didn't directly answer Lu Shan's question. Instead, he said to Ningyu, how did you know? If you don't want people to know, don't do it. Ningyu said. Ningyu knew that with the strength of Zhang Wenyang's soul force, it was impossible to help Lu Shan expel the residual soul-devouring pill medicinal strength in his body. In the past, if he wanted to help Lu Shan expel the residual soul-devouring pill medicinal strength in his body, he only needed to refine a grade 2 medicinal pill, cold fragrance pill. As for now, it was somewhat difficult. Taking a deep breath, Zhang Wenyang said, in that case, you have the confidence to cure Lu Shan. Whether I have the confidence or not doesn't seem to have anything to do with you, right? Ningyu said indifferently. You only know how to boast. Zhang Wenyang said coldly. As long as you can cure Lu Shan, I'll let you off. I promise not to find trouble with you in the future. Who do you think you are? You still want to find trouble with me? Ningyu's face was gloomy, and he was a little angry. Good. Wu Yong, you saw it. He's provoking me. Clapping his hands, Zhang Wenyang said to Wu Yong, this is a personal grudge between us. I hope you won't interfere. Ningyu, why don't we make another bet? As he spoke, Zhang Wenyang shook his wrist, and a storage bag appeared in his hand. Waving the storage pouch, Zhang Wenyang said, there are 300 pieces of high-grade essence crystals inside. As long as you can cure Lu Shan, these essence crystals are yours. Moreover, I'll give you this storage pouch for free. If you can't cure Lu Shan, I don't want the high-grade origin crystals you just won. You just have to kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times. Zhang Wenyang, our bet doesn't seem to be fair. 300 high-grade origin crystals in a storage bag. It would be a waste not to take it. However, Ningyu still wanted to extort more. He said, if I lose, I have to kneel down and kowtow to you 3 times. If you lose, you only have to pay 300 high-grade origin crystals. What a joke. Do you think that 3 kowtows is worth more than 300 high-grade origin crystals? Zhang Wenyang laughed. Then let's not bet. Shrugging, Ningyu said, then how do you want to bet? From Zhang Wenyang's point of view, unless Ningyu was a third-grade alchemist, it was impossible for him to cure Lu Shan. A third-grade alchemist under the age of 20? Was that possible? Therefore, Zhang Wenyang believed that he would definitely win this bet. It's very simple. I want the jade bangle on your wrist. Ningyu pointed at Zhang Wenyang's wrist and said, all right, as long as you can cure Lu Shan, this jade bangle is yours. Clenching his teeth, Zhang Wenyang said, no. Ji Feng hurriedly said, Zhang Wenyang, that jade bangle of yours is... Before Ji Feng could finish his words, Zhang Wenyang said, it's fine. It's impossible for Ningyu to cure Lu Shan. Ningyu, I'll give you 2 hours. After 2 hours, if you can't cure Lu Shan, then you have to kneel down and kowtow to me 3 times at the city gates of Tianxian City. Zhang Wenyong said in a deep voice. Deal. Snapping his fingers, Ningyu said, I'll have to trouble you to pass the storage bag and jade bangle to Brother Wu for safekeeping. I don't really trust your character. Swoosh. With a flick of his wrist, Zhang Wenyong threw the storage bag and jade bangle to Wu Yong. Chapter 40. Sit down, relax your mind, and don't resist. Ignoring Zhang Wenyong, Ningyu said to Lu Shan, right now, the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill in your body have all gathered at your heart. If you don't treat it in time, you will only have 24 hours to live. Young Master Ning, please save me. Through the conversation between Ningyu and Zhang Wenyong, Lu Shan knew that he was indeed in great danger. If not for Ningyu's appearance, he might even be grateful to Zhang Wenyong. At that time, he might not even know how he died. Hence, he hated Zhang Wenyong very much. However, he did not dare to show it. After all, Zhang Wenyong was not someone he could afford to offend. He did not have Ningyu's boldness and did not dare to offend Zhang Wenyong. You call me Young Master Ning so sweetly. I think you've forgotten your identity. Zhang Wenyong snorted coldly. Young Master Zhang, Lu Shan hurriedly said. However, just as Lu Shan opened his mouth, Ningyu's berating voice sounded. He quickly shut his mouth and said, Don't speak. With his palm on Lu Shan's back, Ningyu secretly released his soul force and quietly entered Lu Shan's body. Hiss! Seeing the condition of Lu Shan's heart, even though Ningyu had lived 2 lives, he could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. There was a weak energy shield in front of Lu Shan's heart, resisting the soul-devouring pill's effects. Otherwise, even if a sage appeared, he might not be able to cure him. Ningyu's soul force slowly approached Lu Shan's heart. Circulating the spirit transformation art, he began to expel the soul-devouring pill's effects bit by bit. Perhaps it felt the invasion of Ningyu's soul force. The soul-devouring pill's effects suddenly gave up on nibbling away at the energy shield and turned to attack Ningyu's soul force. The soul-devouring pill's effects changed its target. Lu Shan only felt a sharp pain coming from his heart and could not help but scream. Shut up if you don't want to die. Ningyu berated. Even though he was in extreme pain and even had a hideous and warped expression for the sake of survival, Lu Shan still gritted his teeth tightly and tried his best to not make the slightest sound. Young Master, can Ningyu really cure Lu Shan? The skinny man beside Wu Yong asked with a frown. It's hard to say. The medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill are very strong. I don't know what's going on inside Lu Shan, so I'm not sure, said Wu Yong. If Ningyu can cure Lu Shan, I'll write my name backwards. Zhang Wenyong laughed sinisterly. Wu Yong did not know the condition of Lu Shan's body, but he was very clear about it. This was because the Yuan Qi shield in front of Lu Shan's heart was left behind by him. Hearing Lu Shan scream, Zhang Wenyong concluded that the Yuan Qi barrier he had left behind must have been broken. Otherwise, Lu Shan would not have cried out like a pig being slaughtered. If the Yuan Qi barrier breaks, Lu Shan will die a horrible death in at most 10 minutes. Zhang Wenyong could not help but smile when he thought of this. Suddenly, Ningyu's expression changed, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. His body was on the verge of collapse, and even his hands that were placed on Lu Shan's back were swaying. Ha ha, Ningyu, admit defeat if you can't do it. Otherwise, the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill will be transferred to you. That won't be good. Zhang Wenyong added insult to injury. Zhang Wenyong, can you shut up? Wu Yong's expression was gloomy as he said coldly, If you disturb Ningyu again, I don't mind sparring with you. Zhang Wenyong was a little angry, but he remembered that he had not advanced to the Khanate realm. So, he took a deep breath and said, I won't lower myself to your level. When Ningyu dies, let's see how you can still be so arrogant. Ningyu, this is all I can help you with, Wu Yong muttered as he looked at the pale Ningyu. At Lu Shan's heart, Ningyu's soul power was slowly expelling the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill. Although the speed was a little slow, the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill were slowly being expelled from Lu Shan's body. However, the consumption of soul power was a little large. so Ning Yu's face was getting paler and paler. In the blink of an eye, an hour had passed, and Ning Yu's face was extremely pale. As for Lu Shan, his breathing was weak, and he even looked like he was about to stop breathing. Wu Yong, in my opinion, you should return my jade bracelet and storage bag to me. Zhang Wenyong could not help but say again, if this continues, it won't be long before Ningyu dies. It hasn't been 2 hours yet. The outcome of the battle is still unknown. For some reason, Wu Yong was very confident in Ningyu. Although Ningyu did not look good, Wu Yong still believed that Ningyu would win and cure Lu Shan. Puffed. At this moment, Lu Shan suddenly spat out a mouthful of black blood. His hideous expression finally eased a little. The medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill. Ji Feng exclaimed. What? Is it the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill? Zhang Wenyong's expression changed drastically as he hurriedly looked at Lu Shan. What he saw shocked Zhang Wenyong quite a bit. Other than spitting out a mouthful of black blood, Lu Shan's clothes were also dyed black, and he looked a little ugly. The medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill in Lu Shan's body. Zhang Wenyong was a little dumbfounded. His mouth was slightly agape, and his face was filled with confusion. It was actually forced to the surface of the skin and seeped out. Get out! Ningyu did not notice Zhang Wenyong's dumbfounded expression. Instead, he gritted his teeth and instantly released his soul power, forcing all the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill out of Lu Shan's body. Puffed, puffed, puffed. After spitting out 3 mouthfuls of black blood, Lu Shan's expression gradually returned to normal. Although he still looked very weak, compared to earlier, the difference was like heaven and earth. Phew! Standing up, Ningyu let out a long breath and said, the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill in Lu Shan's body have been completely expelled. He's fine now. Although he was still very weak, Lu Shan still bowed to Ningyu and said solemnly, Thank you, young Master Ning, for saving my life. There's no need for that. I only saved you to make a bet with Zhang Wenyong, Ningyu said after taking the storage bag and jade bangle from Wu Yong. Ningyu, you actually healed Lu Shan. After being dumbfounded for a full 3 minutes, Zhang Wenyong finally came back to his senses. His face was filled with disbelief. He never expected that he would lose a sure-win situation. How could Ningyu cure Lu Shan? He released his soul power and carefully checked the condition of Lu Shan's body, hoping to find a trace of the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill. But very soon, he was disappointed because the medicinal effects of the soul-devouring pill in Lu Shan's body had indeed been expelled completely. Not even a strand of hair was left. Thank you. 300 high-grade essence crystals, a storage bag, and a jade bangle. Ningyu was in a very good mood. It could be said that he was extremely happy. Zhang Wenyong was really his lucky star. Zhang Wenyong gave him 100 high-grade essence crystals first and still felt that it was not enough. Zhang Wenyong wanted to give him another 300 high-grade essence crystals, a storage bag, and a jade bangle. Ningyu definitely had to thank such a good person. Chapter 41. Zhang Wenyong couldn't hold it in any longer. He spat out a mouthful of blood, his face contorted. Today was the worst day of his life. First, he lost to Ningyu 100 upper-grade yuan crystals. Then, he lost 300 yuan crystals, a storage pouch, and a jade bangle. He could give up on the yuan crystals and the storage pouch, but he had to get the jade bangle back. Ningyu, since you like gambling so much, let's have another round, Zhang Wenyong said in a low voice. You still have yuan crystals and a storage pouch? Ningyu asked. I'm not going to bet those things with you. Let's bet our lives. Zhang Wenyong gritted his teeth. A week later, we'll fight to the death outside Dandragon Valley. Do you dare? Shaking his head, Ningyu said, My life is more precious than yours. I'll lose a lot if I bet with you. So, I'm not betting. You. Pointing at Ningyu, Zhang Wenyong gritted his teeth. If not for Wu Yong, he would have killed Ningyu long ago. Ningyu wouldn't have been able to act so arrogantly here. If today's incident got out, how could he, Zhang Wenyong, survive in the capital? Moreover, he was about to enter Danwu College. If this incident got out, he would become the laughingstock of many students in Danwu College. Therefore, he had to get back at him. Ningyu, it's fine if you don't want to bet, but that jade bangle was given to me by my father. How about I redeem it with 1,000 upper-grade yuan crystals? Zhang Wenyong said, suppressing his anger. No need. I like this jade bangle very much. Moreover, I have 400 upper-grade yuan crystals now. It's enough for me to cultivate for a long time. Ningyu said. After that, Ningyu cupped his hands at Wu Yong and said, Brother Wu, I have something to do today. I'll take my leave for now. I'll visit another day when I have time. Seeing that Ningyu was about to leave, Zhang Wenyong panicked. The jade bangle couldn't be lost. Otherwise, his father would kill him. Ningyu, a top-grade profound rank magic treasure. Making up his mind, Zhang Wenyong said, a week later, we will fight at the outskirts of Pill Dragon Valley. I'll take out a top-grade mystic rank magic weapon as the wager. As for you, you don't need anything else. Just a jade bracelet will do. Ningyu rolled his eyes and said, a top-grade mystic artifact. Not bad. I guess I'll just make do. Zhang Wenyong's eyes lit up as he hurriedly asked, does that mean that you agree to it? In Zhang Wenyong's opinion, as long as Ningyu dared to agree to fight with him, he would definitely make Ningyu suffer the consequences. Zhang Wenyong was 100% sure that he could kill a mere Hotian middle-stage warrior. Since you insist on giving me a top-grade profound rank magic treasure, if I don't accept it, then I'd be letting you down. Ningyu spoke seriously as if the top-grade profound rank magic treasure was already his. All right. As expected, he had courage. 1 week later, at the outskirts of Pill Dragon Valley. See you there. Without leaving behind any harsh words, Zhang Wenyong and Ji Feng left the First Sky booth together. Sigh. Ningyu, you're too impulsive this time. In the room, Wu Yong sighed and said, Zhang Wenyong's cultivation level is at the peak of the Hotian stage. He's very strong. Moreover, Zhang Wenyong is an alchemist. His soul power is very strong. It's said that he has cultivated a type of soul attack spell. He has already achieved initial success. Soul attack spell. Frowning slightly, Ningyu was a little surprised. Soul attack spell was not only precious, but also extremely difficult to cultivate. Zhang Wenyong could cultivate a soul attack spell to initial success. No matter what grade the spell was, it was something to be proud of. Even without using a soul attack spell, Zhang Wenyong's strength is not to be underestimated. If I hadn't advanced to the early stage of the Xiantian stage, I wouldn't dare to say that I could suppress Zhang Wenyong. Once Zhang Wenyong advances to the early stage of the Xiantian stage, our strength will be on par. Zhang Wenyong wants to use a soul attack spell to get into the top 30 in the Danwu College's assessment. Since he wants to fight with you, he will definitely use it when the time comes. Looking at Ningyu, Wu Yong tried to persuade him, when the time comes, you and I will fight together. As long as the powerful warriors of the Zhang family don't interfere, I can protect you. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu said to Wu Yong in a serious tone, Brother Wu, thank you for your kindness. Since I have agreed to fight with Zhang Wenyong, I will definitely fight with him. Otherwise, even if I get into the Danwu College, I will always be threatened by him. That's right. I can see that you're not weak. Anyway, there's still a week left. You can use this time to cultivate. Nodding, Wu Yong said, if Zhang Wenyong hasn't reached the Xiantian stage in a week, you still have a chance of winning. Actually, Wu Yong was very confident in Ningyu. Ningyu had blocked Song Fei's all-out attack, and he still looked like nothing had happened. From this, one could tell that Ningyu was very strong. Now that he had obtained 400 high-rank yuan crystals, it was very likely that his cultivation would improve again. If Zhang Wenyong hadn't reached the Xiantian stage in a week, Ningyu had a 50% chance of winning. Brother Wu, I will go back first. I will visit another day, Ningyu said. Then, Ningyu turned around and left the number 1 private room. Young master, isn't this Ningyu too arrogant? He actually agreed to fight with Zhang Wenyong. After Ningyu left, the skinny man frowned and said, it's not that he is arrogant, it's that he has no other choice. Zhang Wenyong said, If he doesn't agree to fight with Zhang Wenyong will definitely make a move on his family. If he agrees to fight with Zhang Wenyong, he can guarantee his family's safety for a week. The Supreme Pavilion. Elder Guan, the young man that you like, is really good at stirring up trouble. Xiao Yunlan smiled bitterly. How is this stirring up trouble? He has no choice. He has no choice. Do you understand? Elder Guan was not worried at all. But, Elder Guan, do you really think that Ningyu could defeat Zhang Wenyong? Although Ningyu blocked Song Fei's full power attack, Xiao Yunlan still didn't think that he could defeat Zhang Wenyong. Even if he wins by luck, the Zhang family will not let him go. You're right. It looks like we have to teach the Zhang clan a lesson. A fight between the younger generation should be left to the younger generation. Elder Guan's face turned cold, and he said in a deep voice, "If the older generation of the Zhang family dares to interfere, I don't mind standing behind Ningyu and supporting him." In the Supreme Pavilion, Ningyu didn't know about the conversation between Elder Guan and Xiao Yunlan. After leaving the Drunken Cloud Inn, it was already evening. Ningyu rushed home without stopping. The 400 yuan crystals that he won today, Ningyu didn't care too much about it. The thing that surprised him the most was the jade bracelet. Not bad. I didn't expect Zhang Wenyong to have such a good treasure. No wonder he was willing to use a mystic-class treasure to exchange for it. Playing with the jade bracelet, Ningyu mumbled, "Swoosh, swoosh." Right at this moment, two shadows flashed by and dashed towards Ningyu from the left and right. Not good. Putting the jade bracelet into his storage pouch, Ningyu stomped on the ground and quickly retreated. Releasing his soul perception, Ningyu's heart sank. Chapter 42. Although he knew that his opponents were two warriors at the peak of the post-liminary realm, Ningyu did not choose to sit still and wait for death. Instead, he secretly activated the spirit transformation technique, gathered his primordial chi on his wrist, and punched out twice. Bang! Bang! In the next moment, two muffled sounds came out. The two peak post-liminary realm warriors stopped where they were and did not continue to attack. On the other hand, Ningyu took a few steps back before he could stabilize his body. The powerful hidden energy that came from his fists made his face very ugly. The information was wrong. His cultivation has reached the middle stage of the post-liminary realm. One of the tall men in black said gloomily. On his back, there was a blue longbow and 3 cloud shocking arrows. His whole body was emitting a cold, murderous aura. The other fat man in black sneered and said, "The middle stage of the post-liminary realm is nothing. The two of us have once killed an early-stage post-liminary realm warrior. Hurry up. I feel that there is a strong warrior coming this way." The tall man in black took out a cloud-shocking arrow, knocked it on the bowstring, and shot it at Ningyu. Shio! The cloud-shocking arrow flew out at an extremely fast speed, and in the blink of an eye, it appeared in front of Ningyu's chest. Break from me. Enduring the waves of hidden energy that came from his fists, Ningyu's hands quickly swept out, and in the blink of an eye, he caught the cloud-shocking arrow. With just a little bit of force, the cloud-shocking arrow was broken. Although the cloud-shocking arrow was fast, in front of Ningyu's super strong soul perception, it was like a baby's fist, extremely slow. What? The tall man in black's expression changed. He did not expect that Ningyu's reaction would be so fast, and that even the cloud-shocking arrow could not do anything to him. Let's attack together. After exchanging a look with the fat man in black, the two of them immediately jumped up, wanting to fight with Ningyu in close combat. Bone-breaking palm. The tall man in black's body was filled with yuan qi, and a layer of green gas appeared on the surface of his skin. He opened his palm and punched out. Heart-digging fist. The short and stout man in black bent his body slightly, and his fists were like black tigers digging out their hearts, pointing straight at Ningyu's chest. Ningyu's eyes narrowed, and the yuan qi in his body began to circulate wildly. A huge palm print quickly appeared in front of him. Netherworld Samsara palm, absolute dust. With a low shout, Ningyu continued to pour his soul strength into the illusory palm print. When the palm print had grown to a certain size, Ningyu threw a palm strike at the two black-clothed men. Boom! Boom! The illusory palm print collided with the fists of the two men in black. 3 forces, 2 against 1. Pucci. Ningyu was sent flying by this force and crashed heavily into the ground. The two men in black had their hands struck by the illusory palm print. If they had not activated their Yuan Qi in time to resist, their hands would have been crippled. Xiao! Xiao! However, what they didn't notice was that when the illusory palm print shattered, 2 extremely fine strands of soul power entered their bodies through their palms. Who are you? Why did you attack me? While absorbing the Yuan Qi in the crystals, Ningyu asked, Did Zhang Wenyong send you? What Zhang Wenyong? It's Lin, the tall man in black said. However, before he finished his sentence, the short and stout man in black interrupted him and said coldly, Trying to get information from us? You're still a little too inexperienced. Is that so? The corner of Ningyu's mouth curled up, and he quietly placed his right hand behind his back. In his hand, there were several elixirs. Incorp's lightning pill. Go! The tall man in black roared and struck out with his palm. Waves of black gas swept out from his hand and pressed down on Ningyu's head. Give me your life. The short and stout man in black was also infuriated. Originally, with their strength, killing Ningyu should be a piece of cake. Who would have thought that they couldn't even take him down in 2 moves? If this news were spread, how could they keep a foothold in the assassination pavilion? The short and stout man in black made up his mind. After killing Ningyu, he would chop off his head and hang it on the city walls of Tianxin City. Only then could he resolve the hatred in his heart. Go! Just as the 2 men in black were about to attack him, Ningyu's right hand suddenly stretched out from his back. He spread his fingers and used all his strength to throw the Incorp's lightning pill at the 2 men in black. Transcendent grade Guyuan pill? Similar to Lin Feng's reaction, the 2 men in black were momentarily stunned. While the 2 men in black were stunned, Ningyu moved his soul power. Immediately, the 2 strands of soul power hidden in their bodies exploded. The soul power explosion had a huge impact on the 2 men in black. The pain that came from the depths of their souls caused their expressions to change drastically. Bean-sized beads of sweat dripped down their foreheads. Incorp's lightning pill, explode for me. At this moment, Ningyu triggered the soul power in the Incorp's lightning pill, causing the dozens of corpse lightning pills to explode. After the corpse lightning pills exploded, the Incorp's chi inside quietly entered the bodies of the 2 men in black. Because their souls were being suppressed by Ningyu, they couldn't divert their attention to resist the Incorp's chi. This caused the Incorp's chi to wreak havoc in their bodies. Die. Ningyu wouldn't give them the chance. He rose from the ground and sent out several punches, all of which landed on the heads of the men in black. One after another, the 2 black-robed men were beheaded in a daze just like that. Let me see who you are. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu wanted to check the identity of the men in black. However, his expression changed. He tapped the ground with his feet and disappeared in a breath. Swoosh! Swoosh! Not long after Ningyu disappeared, 2 figures appeared. One of them squatted down in front of the men in black. He frowned and said, Incorp's chi, could it be people from the corpse sect? Elder Guan, these 2 are iron plate assassins from the assassination pavilion. The corpse sect has a good relationship with the assassination pavilion, so they shouldn't kill people from the assassination pavilion. Xiao Yinlan was also a bit surprised, but she didn't believe that it was people from the corpse sect. Elder Guan said, It shouldn't be wrong. Aside from the corpse sect, no one can control Incorp's chi. As a higher-up of Danwu College, Elder Guan had dealt with the corpse sect a lot. He naturally knew that aside from the corpse sect, very few people could control Incorp's chi. This aura, why do I feel a bit familiar? Elder Guan was a bit puzzled. From the scene, he felt a trace of a familiar aura. However, no matter how hard he thought, he couldn't think of where he had felt it before. The reason why he didn't notice the Incorp's chi at the mysterious Heaven Square was because Ningyu only used one corpse lightning pill. In addition, the smell of the poison-devouring powder almost covered the smell of the Yin corpse chi, so it was reasonable that Elder Guan didn't notice it. But now, Ningyu detonated more than a dozen corpse lightning pills at once. With Elder Guan's soul perception, he naturally could easily detect it. I didn't expect the opening of a small 5th-grade alchemist's cave to attract people from the corpse sect. Frowning, Elder Guan said, "This won't do. I have to inform the leader of Danwu College to be careful." This time, Danwu College also sent 20 students to train in the Pill Dragon Valley. Chapter 43. In the evening, Ningyu carefully returned home. Taking out a high-grade yuan crystal from his storage bag, Ningyu activated the spiritual art and started to absorb it slowly. Today, Ningyu had taken on Song Fei's full power attack. Although it looked like nothing had happened, his real battle strength had decreased by 50%. In addition, he had killed 2 black-clothed martial artists, causing his injuries to worsen. Fortunately, the black-clothed martial artists were only at the peak of the post-liminary realm. If they were Xiantian realm martial artists, Ningyu had been decapitated. Phew! About 2 hours later, Ningyu let out a long breath. Looking at the crystal-clear, high-grade origin crystal in his hand, he murmured, "It seems that I have to cultivate the second stage of the spiritualization technique. Otherwise, the absorption of origin chi will be too slow." The spiritual art had a total of 10 levels. Each level had a different speed of absorbing yuan chi. In the end, it would increase exponentially. Ningyu never did things sloppily. He immediately put down the crystal in his hand and started to cultivate according to the second level of the spiritual art. Although Ningyu had cultivated the spiritual art to the 8th level in his previous life, he could still feel the profoundness of the mantra when cultivating again. The first level of the spiritual art was the most basic. With Ningyu's memory, there was no need to cultivate at all. From the second level onwards, he would have to cultivate again. Naturally, the speed would be much slower. However, compared to others, Ningyu's speed of cultivating the spiritual art was much faster. After all, he had the experience from his previous life. 2 hours later, Ningyu had cultivated the second level of the spiritual art to the beginner level. 4 hours later, he had achieved initial success. 6 hours later, he had cultivated to the great success stage. The spiritual art is indeed profound. Even with my comprehension ability, I still need half a day to cultivate it. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu picked up the high-grade yuan crystal on the table. He activated the spiritual art and started to absorb the yuan chi. This time, the yuan chi in the high-grade yuan crystal was decreasing at a speed visible to the naked eye. Crack! 2 hours later, a cracking sound rang out. The high-grade essence crystal in Ningyu's hand completely shattered. Not bad. Not only have my injuries healed, but I've also reached the peak of the middle stage of the Hotian realm. At this rate, I should be able to advance to the late stage of the Hotian realm in a week. Ningyu nodded as he felt the cyclone in his sea of consciousness growing larger. With a flick of his wrist, a jade bangle appeared in his hand. Looking at the jade bracelet, Ningyu's eyes revealed an undisguised passion. Zhang Wenyong actually has such a good treasure. I really lucked out this time. With a thought, Ningyu released a strand of his soul power into the jade bangle. Hiss! However, just as his soul power came into contact with the jade bracelet, he felt a heart-wrenching pain. Then his soul power was actually swallowed by the jade bracelet. Not bad, not bad. It is indeed a good treasure. Despite having his soul energy devoured, Ningyu did not feel upset. Instead, he smiled and said, "It really is the devouring jade bracelet. It has devoured quite a lot of soul energy." The so-called devouring jade bracelet, as its name suggested, was a jade bracelet that could devour soul energy. If a careless martial artist tried to probe the situation inside the jade bracelet without knowing what was going on, their soul energy would definitely be devoured. Right now, my soul energy has reached the early stage of the 3rd grade. As long as I refine the soul energy in this jade bracelet, I will definitely reach the peak of the third grade. In the next moment, Ningyu released another 2 strands of soul energy and carefully approached the jade bracelet. Because he was prepared, Ningyu's soul energy was not devoured this time. Instead, it quietly attached itself to the jade bracelet. Soul locking spell. Raising his eyebrows, Ningyu was a little shocked. Oomph. Elementary soul locking spell, break for me. With a cold snort, 4 strands of soul energy rushed out of Ningyu's body and rushed towards the jade bracelet. Pong! Not long after, a muffled sound came from the jade bracelet. Then, Ningyu's strands of soul energy completely entered the jade bracelet. The devouring jade bracelet had one benefit. It could refine soul energy and turn it into pure soul energy. With a thought, Ningyu controlled his soul energy and guided all the soul energy out of the jade bracelet and into his body. Buzz! As soon as the soul energy entered his body, Ningyu felt a buzzing sound coming from his head. Immediately, he sat down cross-legged and began to cultivate. Devouring soul energy was dangerous. Even though it was pure soul energy, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. Pong! After devouring for a full 2 hours, a muffled sound came from his body. Ningyu stood up with a swoosh, his eyes shining brightly. Boom! His soul energy surged out of his body and was quickly suppressed by Ningyu. The strength of my soul energy has indeed reached the peak of the third grade. Now, it is not difficult for me to concoct third grade dawn. Feeling the increase in his soul energy, Ningyu nodded to himself. His alchemy experience was still there. As long as his soul energy recovered, he would be able to concoct the same grade of dawn. Netherworld Samsara Palm. Since his soul energy had increased to the peak of the third grade, Ningyu naturally would not sit around and do nothing. Instead, he began to cultivate the Netherworld Samsara Palm. The Netherworld Samsara Palm was a soul attack. Its strength was not in martial arts, but in soul attacks. Ningyu had already successfully cultivated the first palm, Absolute Dust. Now that his soul energy had reached the peak of the third grade, he could cultivate the second palm, Lonely Names. If Absolute Dust was a combination of martial arts and soul attack, then the second palm, Lonely Names, would be a complete soul attack. Forming a seal with his 5 fingers, the soul energy in his body circulated wildly and gathered on his palm. Go! With a low shout, 1/10 of the soul energy in his body transformed into an illusory palm and shot out. Sha-sha! As the palm shot out, the air rustled. In the end, it turned into nothingness and disappeared in front of the wall. Not bad. If I use my full strength to execute the second palm, Lonely Names, I should be able to condense a physical palm. Ningyu nodded his head. He was very satisfied with the power of the second palm. If he were to fight with Song Fei now, Ningyu was confident that he could block 3 of his full-strength attacks. Moreover, after executing the Lonely Names palm, he had a 50% chance of escaping from Song Fei. Of course, that was only limited to escaping. If he wanted to thoroughly defeat Song Fei, Ningyu knew that he had to cultivate to the late stage of the Hotian realm, or even the peak of the Hotian realm. After all, there was a gap between the Xiantian realm and the Hotian realm that was difficult for martial artists to cross. Keeping the devouring jade bangle, Ningyu decided to make a trip to the Snow Pavilion to buy some medicinal ingredients to concoct the third-grade soul solidifying pill. Ningyu knew that he could cultivate to the late stage of the Hotian realm in a week by relying on the spirit transformation method. However, he did not want to wait that long. The current situation did not allow him to wait that long. Not to mention the battle with Zhang Wenyong. Just the fact that he was surrounded by the black-clothed martial artists the day before made Ningyu realize the seriousness of the situation. In addition, there was the corpse sex barbarian corpse king hidden in the dark and the Drunken Cloud Pavilion's pavilion master Song Fei that he had offended. All of them were hard to deal with. Therefore, he had to find a way to cultivate to the late stage of the Hotian realm, or even the Xiantian realm. Chapter 44. Because he'd spent a lot of time cultivating, it was already noon when Ningyu arrived at Snow Domain Pavilion. This time, Ningyu did not disguise himself. After all, Elder Mo and Lu Wei already knew his identity. There was no point in hiding anymore. Young Master Ning, welcome. As soon as he entered Snow Domain Pavilion, Lu Wei greeted him with a smile. What brings you here today? Nothing much. I just want to buy some herbs. Ningyu said directly, give me 10 sets of herbs for the soul solidifying pill. Soul solidifying pill? Hearing this, Lu Wei frowned slightly, a little dazed. She knew that the soul solidifying pill was a third-grade pill, and it was one of the best among the third-grade pills. Unless one was a peak third-grade alchemist, it would be difficult to successfully refine it. Could it be that Ningyu had reached the peak of the third-grade alchemist? Thinking of this, the way Lu Wei looked at Ningyu was a little strange. This was too abnormal. How was she supposed to live? Why, you don't have it. Seeing Lu Wei's reaction, Ningyu was a little depressed. The herbs for the soul solidifying pill were not too precious, so it was impossible for Snow Domain Pavilion not to have it. Yes. After recovering, Lu Wei's face showed a difficult expression and said, but the illusionary cloud beast core is temporarily sold out. It will take 3 days for it to arrive. Ningyu was a little disappointed because the illusionary cloud beast core was the main ingredient for the soul solidifying pill. He could find substitutes for the other herbs, but not the core. Ningyu, if you really want it, you could try your luck at the Alchemy Union. Maybe they have it in stock. Seeing Ningyu's disappointed look, Lu Wei said, moreover, you don't have an alchemist badge yet, right? Why don't you make use of this opportunity to take the examination and obtain a second-tier apothecary emblem? It will be of great help to you when you enter Danwu College. You might even be able to make an exception and enter the college. A second-grade alchemist can enter Danwu College as an exception? Ningyu was puzzled. Every genius alchemist's time is very precious. How could they take part in the Danwu College's assessment with those martial artists? Lu Wei explained, actually, most of the people who pass the assessment to enter Danwu College are martial artists. Alchemists who are slightly more powerful have all been recruited into the college. With your talent, you will definitely be able to enter Danwu College as an exception. Of course, the prerequisite is that you must have a second-grade badge issued by the Alchemy Guild. However, I don't recommend that you make an exception and enter Danwu College. I heard that the reward for the first place in the Danwu College's assessment this time is very generous. Therefore, many geniuses who can make an exception and enter the college choose to participate in the assessment in order to obtain the first place. What's the reward for the first place? Ningyu asked without batting an eyelid. I don't know yet. However, I heard that the reward this time is the most generous since the establishment of Danwu College. Shaking her head, Lu Wei replied, let's go to the Alchemy Guild and see if there are any illusory cloud beast cores. To Ningyu, the reward for the first place in the Danwu College's assessment was still very far away. At the very least, he wouldn't be of much help at this stage. If he wanted to raise his cultivation in a short period of time, he had to concoct the core condensing pill. He had to break through to the Haute Eon advanced stage as soon as possible. After leaving Snow Domain Pavilion, Ningyu and Lu Wei headed to the Alchemy Guild together. Along the way, Ningyu found out that Elder Hiroshi was in seclusion, working hard to become a fourth-grade alchemist. The moment Elder Hiroshi succeeded in becoming a fourth-grade alchemist, it would be a huge matter for Snow Domain Pavilion. At that time, he would definitely be summoned back to the capital and a grand banquet would be held. The Alchemy Guild could be found all over the continent. As for who the founder was, even Ningyu in his previous life had no idea. Most likely, the founder had already surpassed the limits of a Jizuan realm cultivator. Tianxian City's Alchemy Guild was just a few streets away from Snow Domain Pavilion. Ningyu and Lu Wei arrived at the location very quickly. Inside the Alchemy Guild, a dozen young men were queuing up to register, seemingly intending to take the alchemist examination. Welcome to the Alchemy Guild. Upon seeing Ningyu and Lu Wei enter, a lady in her 20s walked up and said, May I know how I can help you? We want to purchase the illusory cloud beast core. Lu Wei went straight to the point and said, Illusory cloud beast core? Lan Shi's mouth was slightly agape. Her expression was a little exaggerated. The illusory cloud beast was a third-grade demonic beast. Even a dozen Xiantian realm cultivators might not be a match for it. In order to kill the illusory cloud beast, only a large number of Xiantian realm cultivators or true martial realm cultivators would be able to kill it and obtain its core. From this, it could be seen how precious the illusory cloud beast core was. The market price of the illusory cloud beast core was already at 10,000 low-grade essence crystals. Looking at Lu Wei carefully, Lan Shi asked again, Are you sure you want to purchase the core? As long as there is an illusory cloud beast core, I will buy as many as you have, Ningyu said. Aren't you afraid of biting your tongue? Do you really think that you have a crystal mine at home? That's right. An illusory cloud beast core is worth 10,000 low-grade essence crystals. Even a second-grade alchemist might not be able to take it out. Who knows? Maybe he's the young master of some big family and is just trying to win the smile of a beauty. Haha. Most of these people who came to take the alchemy examination had just returned from the magical Beast Mountain range. They did not know of Ning Yu's ferocious deeds. If they knew that Ning Yu had killed Lin Feng, they would probably not dare to say such words. Lan Shi, what are you doing? Suddenly, a man dressed in black walked over. There was a round badge on his shoulder with a star on it. The people who came to take the alchemy examination looked at the man with respect. Their faces were filled with envy. Most of them were looking at the badge on the man's shoulder because it meant that the man was a first-grade alchemist. Most of these people who came to take the alchemy examination were high-level alchemy apprentices. There were a few who came to take the first-grade alchemist examination. They worshipped those who could become first-grade alchemists. Turning around, Lan Shi looked at the man in black and said respectfully, Grandmaster Ma, these two want to purchase the core of the illusory cloud beast. You want to purchase the core of the illusory cloud beast? Casually scanning Ning Yu with his soul power, Grandmaster Ma frowned and said, The core of the illusory cloud beast is expensive. Why do you want to buy it? After his soul power had reached the peak of third grade, Ning Yu could control it freely. Unless he wanted to, no one would be able to sense the strength of his soul power. Although he was disgusted by Grandmaster Ma's tone, Ning Yu did not get angry. Instead, he said calmly, I naturally have a use for it. I don't think I need to tell you, right? Even if you don't tell me, I know. The core of the illusory cloud beast is the main ingredient for refining third-grade soul solidifying pills. You must be overestimating yourself by buying it to refine soul solidifying pills. Chapter 45. Swoosh. Ning Yu's face turned gloomy when he heard what Master Ma said. Is there something wrong with this Master Ma? I did not offend him. Why is he picking on me? Master Ma, I don't think you are in charge of the Alchemy Union. Lu Wei's face darkened as well. A mere first-grade alchemist dares to be so arrogant in front of me? I can tolerate it, but I can't. One must know that she was a second-tier pill master, but she was afraid of causing unnecessary trouble, so she did not wear the 2-star badge on her shoulder. If she were to wear the badge on her shoulder, this Master Ma would not dare to talk to them like this. Where did you come from, little girl? I am very busy now, and I have no time to talk nonsense with you. Ignoring Lu Ni's words, Master Ma said to the people queuing up, Those who have registered, go and have your soul strength tested. Those who have not reached half a star will not need to participate in the alchemist assessment. Lan Shi, go and bring the soul power ball over. Damn it, Lu Wei shouted angrily. Wait. Ning Yu winked at Lu Swan, telling her not to get angry and to wait and see. If it was not for Ning Yu, Lu Wei would have lost her temper and would not allow Master Ma to be so arrogant. In the capital, even a third-grade alchemist would not dare to talk to her like this, let alone a first-grade alchemist. She did not expect to be laughed at by a first-grade alchemist in the small Tianjin City Alchemy Union. Hearing this, Lan Shi turned and left. Moments later, Lan Shi returned with a light ball the size of a head in her hand. Looking closely, there were 3 stars on the light ball. Let me go first. A tall and muscular man stepped forward and placed his palm on the light ball. Traces of soul power entered the light ball through his palm. As the soul power entered the light ball, the first star on the light ball lit up. However, the first star was not completely lit up. Only 1/3 of it was lit up. Unqualified. Next, Mastama said coldly. The tall and muscular man left dejectedly. Then, a skinny man stepped forward and placed his palm on the light ball. Buzz. Before long, a star on the ball of light completely lit up. 1 star. He actually lit up a star. His soul power has reached the 1st grade. He's not even 20 years old, right? The strength of his soul force has already reached the 1st grade. There is a high possibility that he can refine the 1st grade chi gathering pill and become a true 1st grade alchemist. When the surrounding people saw the skinny man, their gazes changed. They were filled with admiration. Not bad, not bad. You actually lit up a star? I have only lit up 1.5 stars. You have a great chance of becoming a grade 1 alchemist. Master Ma nodded his head. His tone was much better now that the skinny man could become a grade 1 alchemist. Thank you, Grandmaster Ma. After bowing to Grandmaster Ma, the skinny man took a step back and stood at the side. The thin man had reached the standard, and the others were very excited. Unfortunately, out of the next dozen people, only 3 of them managed to light up half a star. The rest only managed to light up 1/3 of their stars. Why are you guys still standing there? I have already said that as long as I am in the Alchemy Union, you guys can forget about buying an illusionary cloud beast core, Grandmaster Ma said unhappily when he saw that Ningyu and Lu Wei had not left. If I remember correctly, there is a President Zhou in the Alchemy Union, right? With President Zhou around, do you think you can make the decision? Ningyu said indifferently. President Zhou is busy and is not around. I, Stable, have the final say in the Alchemy Union. Stable snorted. Stable, there is someone with this name? After cursing in his heart, Ningyu said calmly, actually, we have no intention of disrespecting you. We just want to buy an illusionary cloud beast core. How about this? 1 illusionary cloud beast core is worth 10,000 low-grade yuan crystals. I will buy it with 1 high-grade yuan crystal. How about it? 1 high-grade yuan crystal. Stable's heart skipped a beat. Although the illusionary cloud beast core was worth 10,000 low-grade yuan crystals, which was equivalent to 1 high-grade yuan crystal, he was very clear that no one would be willing to exchange 1 high-grade yuan crystal for 10,000 low-grade yuan crystals, unless that person was a fool. The benefits of high-grade yuan crystals for cultivation far exceeded that of low-grade yuan crystals. Since you guys insist on buying an illusionary cloud beast core, it is not impossible. Stable rolled his eyes and opened his mouth. Right now, the Alchemy Union still has 3 illusionary cloud beast cores. As long as you can take out 30 high-grade yuan crystals, they are yours. 10 high-grade yuan crystals for an illusionary cloud beast core? Why don't you just rob someone? Lu Wei was very angry. Stable was clearly extorting them. Ningyu, let's go. In 3 days, the Snow Domain Pavilion will ship the illusionary cloud beast core over. Why waste money here? Lu Wei said angrily. With a flick of his wrist, 10 high-grade yuan crystals appeared in his hand. Ningyu said indifferently. Let's take a look at the quality of the illusionary cloud beast core first. As long as the quality is good, the yuan crystals are not a problem. All right, you guys wait here. I will be back soon. Stable's eyes lit up, and he immediately turned around and left. High-grade yuan crystals? Who exactly is he? He took out 10 high-grade yuan crystals without even blinking an eye. Who is he? He must be the young master of some clan. Otherwise, why would he take out 10 high-grade yuan crystals without even blinking an eye? Sigh, I was tricked by Grandmaster Ma. An illusionary cloud beast core is not worth 10 high-grade yuan crystals. Ningyu, it's not like you don't know the price of an illusionary cloud beast core. Exchanging 10 high-grade yuan crystals for 1 core is too much of a loss. Lu Wei complained. The market price of a condensing essence pill is about 40 high-grade yuan crystals. With so many yuan crystals, why don't you buy a condensing essence pill? Ningyu smiled and did not say anything. The market price of a condensing essence pill was indeed 40 high-grade yuan crystals. However, that was only the price of an ordinary low-grade condensing essence pill. A mid-grade condensing essence pill was worth 100 high-grade yuan crystals. A high-grade condensing essence pill was worth 300 high-grade yuan crystals. A supreme condensing essence pill was worth a terrifying 1,000 high-grade yuan crystals. If he wanted the best, Ningyu would not choose a low-grade condensing essence pill. He wanted to personally refine a supreme condensing essence pill and break through to the late stage of the Hodian realm. 10 minutes later, the stable master carefully walked towards Ningyu with a jade box in his hand. "Stable, don't you dare lie to me. Otherwise, I will make you suffer." Beside the stable, a middle-aged man frowned slightly. His face was slightly pale. "How would I dare to lie to you? There are indeed people who are willing to spend 10 high-grade yuan crystals to buy an illusionary cloud beast core. They are two young people, a man and a woman." The stable master said flatteringly, "How can I make the decision for such an important matter? Hence, I asked you to come out and take charge of the situation." "Not bad. At least you know what's good for you." The middle-aged man grunted softly and looked towards Ningyu and Lu Wei. With one look, the middle-aged man was slightly stunned. His eyes widened and his face was filled with disbelief. "Huh." Chapter 46. After being slapped by the middle-aged man, the stable was stunned and only managed to stabilize himself after retreating a few meters. Holding the jade box tightly, the stable didn't dare to let go because there were 3 illusory cloud beast cores inside. If anything happened, he wouldn't be able to pay for it. "Master Lu, what's wrong? Is there a problem?" The stable asked carefully after stabilizing himself. "What's wrong? There's a big problem." Lu Shan flew into a rage and kicked the stable. "Hurry up and apologize. If you don't satisfy young Master Ning today, I'll skin you alive." Young Master Ning. Who is young Master Ning? The stable was only in the middle stage of the post-liminary realm, while Lu Shan was at the peak of the post-liminary realm. Lu Shan was infuriated. He raised his right leg and wanted to kick the stable again. At this time, Ningyu spoke. "All right, there's no need for that. Here are 30 high-grade origin crystals. Give me the cores." Lu Shan patted his chest and said, "Young Master Ning, you are flattering me. Take these 3 illusionary cloud beast inner cores as a gift from me to repay you for saving my life." He had always been grateful to Ningyu for curing his illness, but he didn't know how to repay him. If it wasn't for Ningyu, he would have died long ago. How could he become an elder of the Alchemy Union? Who is he? Why is Lu Shan so respectful to him? Young Master Ning? There's one surnamed Ning among the 4 major families in Tianxin City. Could it be he's Ningyu? Ningyu? Yes, he is Ningyu. 3 days ago, he refined a first-grade medicinal pill, the Qi Gathering Pill. At that time, Lu Shan personally inspected it, and its quality reached the transcendent grade. Someone who knew Ningyu cried out in surprise. Whoosh! This person's words caused an uproar in the Alchemy Union. Those who mocked Ningyu because they didn't recognize him just now didn't even dare to breathe loudly. They were afraid that Ningyu would find trouble with them. They were not the stables. Even if they were the stables, weren't they being taught a lesson by Lu Shan? Not to mention them. As long as Ningyu made trouble for them, they would not be able to walk away unscathed. Xiao! With a flick of his finger, 3 high-grade origin crystals flew towards Lu Shan. "Lu Shan, I won't let you suffer a loss. Here are 3 upper-grade origin crystals to buy 3 illusionary cloud beast cores." Ningyu knew that Lu Shan definitely didn't have that many upper-grade origin crystals on him, so he didn't make things difficult for him. Although he had saved Lu Shan's life, Lu Shan had also helped him win a lot of benefits from Zhang Wenyou. They did not owe each other anything. Hurry up and hand over the illusory cloud beast's inner core. Grabbing the high-tier origin crystal, the stable master was just about to berate Ningyu when he suddenly recalled something. He hurriedly took the jade box from the stable master and respectfully passed it over to Ningyu. After receiving the 3 illusionary cloud beasts' inner cores, Ningyu said, "Lu Shan, I want to take the test for a second-grade alchemist." Through the stable master's attitude towards him just now, Ningyu knew that sometimes those without status were destined to be looked down upon by others. Most alchemists were prideful. The only thing that could make them yield, other than having high cultivation base, was to suppress them in alchemy. Therefore, Ningyu decided to take the test for a second-grade alchemist. With the identity of a second-grade alchemist, no matter which alchemy union he went to, he would be treated very well. Hearing this, Lu Shan's expression turned ugly. He said, "Young Master Ning, the second-grade alchemist must be personally tested by President Zhou. I don't have that ability yet. I can only take the test for a first-grade alchemist." Lu Shan was only a second-grade alchemist, and he advanced with the help of the soul-devouring pill. He was not qualified to host a test for a second-grade alchemist. In profound Sky City, only President Zhou had the right to host the test. This was because President Zhou was a third-grade alchemist, a late-stage third-grade alchemist. "Young Master Ning, how about this? I will give you a first-grade alchemist badge first. When President Zhou returns, I will inform you immediately." Without waiting for Ning Yu's reply, Lu Shan hurriedly signaled to the stable master with his eyes. The stable master understood and hurriedly took out a 1-star badge and presented it to Ning Yu with both hands. Taking the badge, Ning Yu casually put it in his pocket and said, "Lu Shan, the soul force in your body is still not very stable. It's best if you don't refine any medicinal pills for the next month." Since Lu Shan had helped him, Ningyu did not mind giving him some advice. Also, find a way to buy a few second-grade medicinal pills, the cold fragrance pill. Take one every week. After a month, your soul force will more or less stabilize at the second grade. Finished speaking, Ningyu and Lu Wei turned around and left the alchemy union together. "Thank you, young Master Ning." Lu Shan was overjoyed and bowed deeply to Ningyu and Lu Wei's back. He had seen Ningyu's strength. Not only was his martial arts cultivation able to withstand Song Fei's full blow, but his alchemy talent was also very strong. He was probably a late-stage second-grade alchemist by now. "Ningyu, Lu Shan is a second-grade alchemist. Why is he so respectful to you?" On the way back, Lu Wei was a little puzzled. "It's nothing. My master helped him once before." Ningyu did not want to talk about Lu Shan too much. Instead, he quickened his pace and rushed towards Snow Domain Pavilion. The reason why he chose to go to Snow Domain Pavilion was because Ningyu had carefully considered it. Refining the soul condensing pill at home was not safe. It might even attract the attention of others. It would not be possible to refine it at Snow Domain Pavilion because Old Mo was a peak third-grade alchemist. No one would say anything if he refined the soul condensing pill. Not long after, Ningyu and Lu Wei arrived at Snow Domain Pavilion. Because there were only 3 illusionary cloud beast cores, Ningyu brought 3 sets of herbs into an alchemy room. Entering the room, Ningyu first took out a high-grade yuan crystal and used the spiritual art to absorb it, adjusting his mental state to its peak. The soul condensing pill was a peak third-grade elixir. The difficulty of refining it was comparable to a normal 4th-grade elixir. Although Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak 3rd grade, he did not dare to be careless. After all, he was going to refine a supreme grade soul condensing pill. An hour later, when his mental state was at its peak, Ningyu threw the alchemy furnace into the air and grabbed the herbs for the soul condensing pill. Since Ningyu's soul force had reached the peak of the 3rd grade, there weren't any problems during the herb extraction process. Swoosh! While Ningyu was refining the ingredients, Old Mo suddenly stood up in the pill refining room next door. He released his soul force and instantly pressed down. Creak! Old Mo pushed the door open and walked out. "Old Mo, you've advanced to a 4th-grade alchemist." Seeing Old Mo and sensing his aura, Lu Wei was pleasantly surprised. "It's all thanks to you and Ningyu that I was able to advance to a 4th-grade alchemist. If it wasn't for the 2 of you helping me refine the 4th-grade detoxification pill, It would have taken me a long time to advance to a fourth-grade alchemist. Old Mo did not deny it and smiled. Old Mo, you're too humble. You've been a peak third-grade alchemist for a long time. Advancing to a fourth-grade alchemist is only a matter of time, Lu Wei said. Right, when I was in seclusion, did you go to see Ningyu? Old Mo asked. Chapter 47. Oh, refining the soul, solidifying pill? Then what are we? Refining the soul, solidifying pill. Hearing Lu Wei's words, Elder Mo replied calmly. But very quickly, his eyes widened and he exclaimed, He's refining the third-grade soul, solidifying pill? Are you sure? Elder Mo was shocked. The soul-solidifying pill was extremely difficult to refine among the third-grade pills. From a certain perspective, the difficulty of refining it could even be compared to the fourth-grade poison-expelling pill. Even though he had advanced to a fourth-grade alchemist, it was still extremely difficult for him to refine the soul-solidifying pill. Being able to successfully refine 3 out of 10 attempts was already a good result. In Elder Mo's opinion, even though the strength of Ningyu's soul force had reached the third grade, it was basically impossible for him to refine the soul-solidifying pill. I'm sure. Nodding her head, Lu Wei said, We just returned from the Alchemy Union. Ningyu spent 3 high-grade yuan crystals to purchase 3 illusionary cloud beast cores. Thereafter, Lu Wei recounted what happened at the Alchemy Union to Elder Mo. 3 high-grade yuan crystals? That doesn't make sense. A few days ago, he used a transcendent-grade marrow cleansing pill to exchange for low-grade yuan crystals. Frowning slightly, Elder Mo was a little doubtful. Back then, Ningyu used several transcendent-grade marrow cleansing pills to exchange for more than 10 low-grade yuan crystals. It didn't make sense for Ningyu to have 3 high-grade yuan crystals in a short span of 2 days. Could it be that his master had returned? Thinking of this, Elder Mo's face lit up with joy. I believe that Ningyu will come out soon. When the time comes, we can ask him if his master has returned. Elder Mo, you mean that Ningyu's master might be in the Ning family now? Lu Wei's mouth was slightly agape as she asked. That's a possibility, but it's hard to say. Let's wait for Ningyu to come out first. Elder Hiroshi didn't make a definitive statement. It was better to wait for Ningyu to come out and clarify things. Essence Solidifying Pill. If Ningyu is able to refine the Essence Solidifying Pill, then the elders of Danwu College will definitely fight for it. Elder Mo mumbled as he looked at the alchemy room. Who? Inside the alchemy room, Ningyu let out a long breath after he finished refining the ingredients for the soul condensing pill. He poured the refined medicinal liquid into a jade bottle. With a flick of his wrist, an illusory cloud beast inner core was tossed into the cauldron. Hiss! The moment the illusory cloud beast core was thrown into the cauldron, it let out a hissing sound. Go down! Soul force frantically poured into the furnace, suppressing the illusory cloud beast's inner core at the bottom of the furnace. The illusory cloud beast's inner core was extremely difficult to refine. It could only be refined quickly at the bottom of the cauldron and turn into liquid. Because the temperature at the bottom of the cauldron was the highest, the refining speed was the fastest. If I had the heavenly fire cauldron and the demonic lotus flame, refining a mere essence solidifying pill would be a piece of cake. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu secretly made up his mind to find the heavenly fire cauldron and the demonic lotus flame as soon as possible. The heavenly fire cauldron's grade was extremely high, and it was ranked 3rd on the Heaven Cauldron list. The demonic lotus flame was also very special, and it was ranked 5th on the Mystic Flames list. According to the Reincarnation Pill Tao records, the Reincarnation Pill was an existence that surpassed grade 10. The reason why Ningyu was able to refine a semi-finished product was due to the help of the Heavenly Fire Cauldron and the demonic lotus flame. Otherwise, with his identity as a peak grade 9 alchemist, it would be impossible for him to refine an elixir that surpassed grade 10. Kacha! Suddenly, a crisp sound could be heard. With his soul force surging, Ningyu could clearly see the illusory cloud beast's inner core breaking into two and gradually melting. Buzz. After another 2 hours, when the illusory cloud beast's inner core had completely melted into a medicinal liquid, Ningyu poured the liquid from the jade bottle into the cauldron bit by bit. Without the help of the demonic lotus flame, Ningyu had to burn his yuan qi to produce the flame, which naturally consumed a lot of energy. Fortunately, he had cultivated the spiritual transformation technique to stage 2. Otherwise, the speed at which Ningyu absorbed yuan qi would be far from the speed at which he consumed it. To refine the essence solidifying pill, not only did it have a strict requirement on the proportion of medicinal herbs, but it also had to be extremely precise in the control of the fire. Otherwise, it was destined to fail. In his previous life, as a peak grade 9 alchemist, Ningyu had no problem with the proportion of medicinal herbs and the control of the fire. Even though he was confident that he could refine the essence solidifying pill, Ningyu did not dare to be careless. After all, he was not going to refine an ordinary inferior grade essence solidifying pill, but a supreme grade one, a supreme grade essence solidifying pill. Ningyu's eyes were fixed on the cauldron. He did not even dare to wipe the beads of sweat on his forehead, afraid that there would be a problem with the fire. Pung! 2 hours later, Ningyu's eyes narrowed. He patted the cauldron, and a round pill instantly flew out from the cauldron. Swoosh! With a flick of his wrist, he caught the pill. A superior grade essence solidifying pill. Looking at the round pill in his hand, Ningyu frowned slightly. He shook his head and placed it into the jade bottle. Taking out a superior grade yuan crystal, Ningyu sat down cross-legged and started to absorb the energy using the spiritual transformation technique. A moment later, Ningyu had completely replenished the yuan qi he had consumed. His eyes narrowed, and he threw the medicinal herbs into the cauldron again. This time, Ningyu was extremely careful, afraid that he would make a mistake at any part of the process. Refining the essence solidifying pill consumed a lot of yuan qi. An ordinary third-grade alchemist would have exhausted too much yuan qi after refining 1 cauldron a day and could only rest. However, Ningyu was different. The spiritual transformation technique absorbed yuan qi at an extremely fast rate, enough for him to refine several cauldrons of essence solidifying pill in a single day. This time, I must refine a superior grade essence solidifying pill. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu focused all of his attention on refining the essence solidifying pill, completely unaffected by the outside world. Outside the cauldron, Lu Wei and Elder Hiroshi stood guard. Elder Hiroshi, it's already evening. Why isn't Ningyu out yet? It can't be that he really managed to refine the essence solidifying pill, right? Looking at the cauldron, Lu Wei asked doubtfully. It's very difficult. It's basically impossible for him to refine the essence solidifying pill. Since Ningyu managed to refine the superior grade marrow cleansing pill previously, Elder Hiroshi did not dare to be so certain this time. Instead, his brows were tightly knitted together. He was also perplexed. Regardless of whether he succeeded or not, 3 to 4 hours was enough for him to refine a cauldron of essence solidifying pill. Since Ningyu still hasn't come out, could it be that he wants to refine a second cauldron? Thinking of this, even Elder Hiroshi felt that his idea was a little unreliable. It was impossible to refine 2 cauldrons of essence solidifying pill in a short period of time. All right, Missy, did Ningyu tell you why he's refining the essence solidifying pill? Could it be that his father used it? Elder Hiroshi asked with a slight frown. The essence solidifying pill was extremely effective for a Xiantian realm martial artist. There was a 50% chance of breaking through to the next stage. Elder Hiroshi knew that Ningyu was only a Hotian realm martial artist. Consuming the essence solidifying pill would be a waste. If he couldn't fully refine the medicinal energy within, his body might even explode. Creak! At this moment, the door to the cauldron was pushed open, and Ningyu walked out with a face full of exhaustion. Ningyu, did you manage to refine the inferior grade essence solidifying pill? Seeing Ningyu, Lu Wei took a step forward and asked. It's not that easy to refine inferior-grade essence solidifying pill, Ningyu said with a bitter smile as he shook his head slowly. Actually, Ningyu wasn't lying. This time, he had refined 3 cauldrons of essence solidifying pills, 2 superior grade and 1 superior grade. He really didn't manage to refine an inferior grade essence solidifying pill. This time, Ningyu didn't intend to tell Elder Hiroshi and the rest that he had successfully refined the essence solidifying pill. Once the news got out, it would definitely cause a huge uproar. Ningyu, now that your soul force has reached the 3rd grade, I believe it won't be long before you can refine the essence solidifying pill. Don't be discouraged, Elder Hiroshi said. All right, Elder Hiroshi, how much do you know about Elixir Dragon Valley? Chapter 48. According to reliable sources, Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of an early-stage 5th-grade alchemist. It is divided into Inner Valley and Outer Valley. There are no restrictions on entering the Outer Valley. Anyone can enter. As for the Inner Valley, only those below the age of 22 are allowed to enter. As the expert from Snow Pavilion had yet to arrive and Lu Wei was still young, Snow Pavilion's power was temporarily under Elder Mo's control. According to the first batch of people who went deep into Pill Dragon Valley was divided into Inner Valley and Outer Valley. There are no restrictions on entering the Outer Valley. However, there was a powerful formation at the entrance of the Inner Valley. Only those below the age of 22 were allowed to enter. Any martial artist over the age of 22 would be killed by the formation if they tried to barge in. Young Master Ning, do you want to go to Pill Dragon Valley too? Elder Mo asked. That's right. Pill Dragon Valley is the abode of a 5th-grade alchemist. I want to try my luck. Ningyu replied. Ningyu, I want to enter Pill Dragon Valley too. Why don't we go together? Lu Swan's eyes lit up. He said in a hurry, in a week, Master Mo and I will go to the Elixir Dragon Valley together. By then, you will be with us. Nobody will dare to do anything to you. Thank you for your kindness. I have something to do in a week. It's not convenient for me to enter Pill Dragon Valley with you. After pondering for a while, Ningyu felt that it was better not to go with Lu Wei. After all, he was going to fight Zhang Wenyong in a week. Zhang Wenyong came from the capital. His family was definitely not weak. If he went with Elder Mo would not leave him alone. Then, Snow Pavilion might have a conflict with the Zhang family. That's a pity. I wish you good luck. Lu Wei was a little disappointed. Zhang Wenyong did not spread the news of his fight with Ningyu. Otherwise, Lu Wei would definitely know. Song Fei also issued a gag order for what happened at Drunken Cloud Inn. If anyone dared to spread the news, he would kill them. Under Song Fei's threat, for the time being, no one dared to spread the news. However, he believed that after a while, what happened at Drunken Cloud Inn would definitely spread. By then, everyone in Tianxin City would know. If there's nothing else, I'll go back first. Since he had finished refining the soul condensing pill and it was already evening, there was no need for Ningyu to stay here any longer. He cupped his fists and took his leave. Seeing Ningyu disappear, old CEO Mo felt that he had left in a hurry. Could it be that he really refined the soul condensing pill? Frowning, a bold idea appeared in Elder Hiroshi's mind. Once this idea appeared, it lingered in his mind for a long time. Elder Mo, why don't you stay with the Ning family for a few days? I'm afraid Lin Jingtian will attack him, Lu Wei said worriedly. No, I thought it would take a few more days for Ningyu's grandfather to wake up. I didn't expect him to be so strong-willed. He has already woken up. With a touch of coldness in his eyes, Elder Mo said, Ning, he is half a step to the real martial arts realm, and his strength is no weaker than mine. With him in the Ning family, and the fact that the Ning family has already called back all the experts in the family, Lin Jingtian will not dare to act wildly. At the Ning family, back in his room, Ningyu first instructed not to let anyone disturb him. Then he took out a soul-condensing pill and threw it into his mouth. Crunch! The pill Ningyu took out was a high-grade soul-condensing pill. When he chewed it, it was crunchy. As soon as the soul-condensing pill entered his stomach, Ningyu hurriedly used the spiritual transformation technique to absorb the energy. The soul-condensing pill was extremely potent, and there was a 50% chance that it could help a Xiantian realm martial artist break through to the next level. Ordinary Hotian realm martial artists would not be able to refine the pill. Furthermore, the soul-condensing pill contained a huge amount of energy. If a Hotian realm martial artist dared to take it, there was a high chance that his body would explode and he would die. Ningyu was different. His soul force had reached the peak of the 3rd grade, and his spiritual transformation technique could absorb Yuan Qi at an extremely fast speed. Therefore, eating the soul-condensing pill was like eating candy. Suppress it. The energy contained in the soul-condensing pill, guided by the spiritual transformation technique, continuously entered his sea of consciousness and attached to the Qi whirlpool. As the energy continued to enter his sea of consciousness, Ningyu felt the Qi whirlpool suddenly increase in size. In an instant, he had an urge to break through to the late Hotian realm. Naturally, Ningyu would not break through to the late Hotian realm so easily. He had to suppress the Qi whirlpool in his sea of consciousness. Hiss! Feeling that it was being suppressed, the Qi whirlpool instantly surged, crashing left and right in his sea of consciousness. Humph! You'd better behave yourself. With a cold snort, Ningyu's powerful soul force instantly gathered in his sea of consciousness, forming the shape of a needle. Then, all of it shot towards the Qi whirlpool. Pung! Suddenly, a muffled sound rang out, and the Qi whirlpool split into two. Feeling the changes in the Qi whirlpool in his sea of consciousness, Ningyu let out a long breath. His eyes were slightly fiery. In his previous life, he had only been able to split the Qi whirlpool into two when he was at the early Xiantian realm. In this life, he had only been able to split the Qi whirlpool into two when he was at the middle Hotian realm. Moreover, it was not difficult at all. According to this rate of progress, by the time he reached the early Xiantian realm, it was very likely that he would be able to split the Qi whirlpool into 4. Even splitting it into 4 into 8 was not impossible. The splitting of the Qi whirlpool was very helpful to the storage of Yuan Qi in the body. When two martial artists of the same realm fought, the one with more Qi whirlpools had a higher chance of winning. It could be said that below the Yuan Dan realm, the more Qi whirlpools there were, the stronger one's strength would be after advancing to the Yuan Dan realm, and the higher their future achievements would be. Crack! Taking out another core condensing pill, Ningyu activated the spirit transformation art and slowly absorbed the energy. The energy contained within a transcendent grade core condensing pill was far stronger than that of a high-grade core condensing pill. Therefore, even though Ningyu's Qi whirlpool had split into 2, it was quickly filled up. Suppress. Suppress it again. Ningyu was not in a hurry to break through to the late Hotian realm. Instead, he suppressed the Qi whirlpool once more, wanted to split it into 4 at one go. While Ningyu was working hard to split the Qi whirlpool, a piece of news quietly spread in Profound Sky City. Have you heard? Ningyu took the initiative to challenge Zhang Wenyang. In a week's time, they will fight to the death outside Pill Dragon Valley. Inside Scattering Flower House, a few martial artists were discussing. I know Ningyu, but who is Zhang Wenyang? Another martial artist asked doubtfully. You don't know Zhang Wenyang? The second young master of the capital's Zhang family. His strength is at the peak of the Hotian realm. The martial artist who spoke just now said, Ningyu is too arrogant. Although he killed Lin Feng and Zhang Wenyang are not on the same level. That's right. Instead of staying at home obediently, he dares to challenge Zhang Wenyang. I think he must be tired of living. The Lin family has already spread the word that as long as Ningyu dares to leave Profound Sky City, they will definitely teach him a lesson. Brother Yunxiang, this Ningyu is overestimating himself, isn't he? He actually dares to challenge Zhang Wenyang. At another table, there were 3 to 4 men around the age of 20. Oof. Who does Zhang Wenyang think he is? Compared to Brother Yunxiang, he is world apart. That's right. Brother Yunxiang has long advanced to the early Xiantian realm. Zhang Wenyong's elder brother might be comparable to Brother Yunxiang. Zhang Wenyong, Brother Yunxiang, can squash him to death with one hand. One of the young men held a folding fan in his hand. He had an elegant demeanor and a smile on his lips. He was the Brother Yunxiang that everyone was talking about. Chapter 49. Brother Yunxiang, how could Ningyu be your match? One of the advanced stage post-liminary realm warriors said flatteringly, if you want to test his strength, I can spar with him before he fights Zhang Wenyong. No need. He's just a genius from a small city. So what if he's strong? We have to look further. Yun Chong said, this training in Elixir Dragon Valley is a rare opportunity. You have to cherish it and enter the inner yard in this year's assessment. Inner yard. Hearing the two words inner yard, a few people beside him revealed looks of longing. They had just entered Danwu College for a year and had been cultivating in the outer yard. They were not qualified to enter the inner yard yet. All the warriors in the inner yard were at the post-liminary realm. Even the top few in the inner yard ranking had reached the post-liminary realm, and their strength was close to the martial realm. All right, it's not easy to enter the inner yard. You have to participate in the assessment. Waving his hand, Yun Chong asked, I told you to keep an eye on Kongyu. Where is she now? Kongyu should be at Drunken Cloud Loft now. A peak post-liminary realm warrior said, ever since we entered Tianxian City, she would go to the Ning family every morning and stay there for an hour before leaving. Swoosh. Hearing this, Yun Chong's face darkened. He said in a low voice, why is she going to the Ning family? Is she looking for Ning Xian? Brother Yun Chong, I don't know. I don't dare to follow her too closely. I'm afraid she'll find out. The peak post-liminary realm warrior said carefully. Good, very good. I'm so infatuated with her. She's going to meet her lover behind my back. Clenching his fists tightly, Yun Chong said in a cold voice, rest well today. Tomorrow morning, come with me to meet that Ning Xian. I want to see just what aspect a person who did not enter the Danwu Academy has that would attract Kongyu. Early the next morning, in Ningyu's room. Splitting the cyclone is indeed difficult. It seems that to split into 4 cyclones, one must reach the peak post-liminary realm or even the post-liminary realm. With a slight frown, Ningyu muttered, at the late stage of the post-liminary realm, there is 2 little yuan qi in the cyclone. It is not enough to split the cyclone into 4. After a night of practice, Ningyu's cultivation had risen to the late stage of the Hotian realm. However, he hadn't divided the cyclone into 4. If one could divide the cyclone into 4 at the Hotian realm, then they would truly be a genius among geniuses. They could even be called a ghostly genius. Even in his previous life, Ningyu, with his heaven-defying talent, was only able to split the cyclone into 2 when he was at the primary stage of the Xiantian realm. Forget it. We can't be too hasty on the path of cultivation. Standing up, Ningyu stared at the remaining supreme essence condensing pill in his hand, feeling troubled. How should I give it to Father? Ningyu had refined 3 essence condensing pills, 2 supreme grade and 1 high grade. He had used 2 of them for cultivation, so he was left with 1 transcendent essence condensing pill. Although the soul solidifying pill would be of great help to him in advancing to the peak of the Hotian realm, he knew that giving the soul solidifying pill to his father, Ning Hai, would be the best choice at this stage. Ning Hai's cultivation was at the late stage of the Xiantian realm. If he took the soul condensing pill, it was highly possible that he would advance to the peak of the Xiantian realm or even the complete Xiantian realm. At that time, Lin Jingtian would have to think twice before making a move. Sigh, if it really doesn't work, I'll just have to say that Elder Hiroshi gave it to me. With a sigh, Ningyu stood up and walked toward the door. Bad news, Brother Ningyu, bad news. Ningyu had just pushed the door open when he saw Ning Xin standing outside, looking highly anxious. Xin, what exactly is going on? Speak slowly, Ningyu asked with a frown. Oh, Brother Ningyu, come with me quickly. Brother Ning Xian is going to duel with someone else. As she dragged Ningyu towards the door, Ning Xin said, in the family's training grounds, no one can stop him. Duel with someone else in the family's training grounds? Is it with Ning Hu? Ning Yu was a little confused. Logically speaking, the younger generations of the Ning family were on good terms with each other, so they shouldn't be dueling. It's not with Ning Hu, it's with someone from Danwu College. Ning Xin explained. Why would someone from Danwu College come to the Ning family to duel with Ning Xian? This time, Ning Yu was even more confused, but very quickly he thought of something and exclaimed, could it be that the girl that Ning Xian likes has just returned from Danwu College, and Ning Xian wants to duel with someone because of her? Ning Xian's face froze, and she nodded her head vigorously. Ning Yu's mouth twitched a few times, thinking to himself that this was really melodramatic. How could such a plot happen in the Ning family? And he had to encounter it himself. Although it was a melodramatic plot, Ning Yu did not stop, but increased his pace. He had no choice. They were already bullying him, and he could not afford to lose face. A few moments later, Ning Yu and Ning Xin arrived at the training grounds. Ning Xian, don't say I didn't give you a chance. They had just arrived at the training grounds when Ning Yu heard a voice calling out to him. Let me see. What makes you worthy of Kong Yu's affection? A man holding a folding fan waved the fan in his hand and said with a smile, moreover, I will suppress my cultivation level to the early stages of the Hotian realm when I duel with you. It will be very fair to you. Yun Xiang, whether I like Ning Xian or not has nothing to do with you. I hope you will leave quickly. A young girl beside Ning Xian said angrily, her pretty face showing signs of anger. Little you, this matter has nothing to do with you. Others have already bullied our family. We cannot let others say that our Ning family's sons are cowards. Ning Xian's face was flushed red, his fists clenched so tightly that his knuckles cracked, looking like he was going to fight for his life. Yun Chang shrugged and said, Ning Xian, I don't really want to duel with you. I just want to tell you that Kong Yu is from Danwu College, and the gap between you and Danwu College is very wide. I want you to give up on this idea as soon as possible. After that, Yin Chang winked at the four men behind him. They understood and immediately stood beside Kong Yu, surrounding her. Kong Yu, I'm sorry to have wronged you. The corners of Yin Chang's mouth curled up, and he waved at Ning Xian, saying, how about this? I allow you to find another helper from the Ning family, 2 against 1. No need against you, Ning Xian's eyes were cold as he said angrily. Haha, elder brother Xian, we brothers have not fought side by side for a long time. How can we miss such a good opportunity today? Before Ning Xian's voice faded, a voice was heard. Slightly startled, Yun Chang turned his head around, only to see a handsome youth slowly walking towards them. The youth had a warm smile on his face as he directly ignored Yun Chang and said to Ning Xian, elder brother Xian, you have also successfully advanced to the early Hotian stage. How about we join forces again today? Ning Xian nodded his head and did not refuse. He was well aware of Yun Chang's strength. Even if he suppressed his cultivation to the early Hotian stage, he would still be no match for Yun Chang. 3 moves, in his opinion. Yun Chang only needed 3 moves to defeat him. Once Ning Yu joined the battle, he believed that the 2 brothers would have an extremely high chance of defeating Yun Chang, who had suppressed his cultivation to the early Hotian stage. Who are you? Yun Chang raised his eyebrows when he saw Ning Yu ignore him. Chapter 50. Ning Yu shrugged and said, it doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that you are in the Ning family, and I am a member of the Ning family. Although Yin Chang could not see through Ning Yu's real cultivation, he was not worried at all. In his opinion, an 18th-rate family like the Ning family could not possibly have any talented warriors. Even if there were 8 or 10 of them, they would not be his match, let alone 2. Standing on the spot, Yin Chang had a confident look on his face as he said, all of you can attack first, because the moment I attack will be the moment of your defeat. I see. Yin Chang, I want to know if suppressing my cultivation to the early stage of the Hotian realm still counts? Ning Yu asked. Of course it counts. Yun Chang said proudly. Suppressing my cultivation to the early stage of the Hotian realm is enough to deal with you. Hee hee. then we will make our move. With a smile, Ningyu's eyes turned cold and his body turned into a beam of cold light, rushing towards Yunchang. Not good. At first, Yunchang was calm and confident, but when he saw Ningyu make his move, his face changed and he quickly retreated. This was because the power of Ningyu's attack far exceeded that of an early-stage Ho Tian warrior. It was close to the late stage of the Ho Tian realm. Bang! In that instant, Ningyu's fist and Yunchang's fist collided, causing a muffled sound. Yunchang retreated a few steps before he could stabilize himself. As for Ningyu, he tapped the ground with his toes and retreated 3 steps. The difference between the two was obvious. Brother Ningyu is good. Brother Ningyu is really powerful. Even the warriors from Danwu College are no match for him. Danwu College is nothing. Brother Ningyu will enter Danwu College sooner or later. I told you, with Brother Ningyu here, nothing will happen. Around the martial arts practice field, the Ning family's children instantly burst into exclamations of surprise and discussion. Yunchang appeared in the Ning family's martial arts arena. Due to his status, the upper echelons of the Ning family did not intervene. Instead, they chose to let the younger generation settle it among themselves. Yunchang's cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. Among the younger generation of the Ning family, Ningxian had just advanced to the early stage of the Hotian realm. How could he possibly be a match for Yunchang? Now that Ningyu had appeared and forced Yunchang back with a single move, the younger generation of the Ning family felt their blood boil. Why is you so strong? At the entrance of the martial arts practice field, Ningyi frowned slightly, feeling a little puzzled. A few days ago, he had examined Ningyu's body and learned that Ningyu's cultivation was only at the primary Hotian realm. He had judged that Ningyu's cultivation was at least at the middle stage of the Hotian realm, or even at the late stage of the Hotian realm. Father, I don't know. Ninghai was also very puzzled. Patriarch, with your strength, it's only a matter of time before he enters Danwu College. Ning Tang, the great elder of the Ning family, said happily. At the mention of Danwu College, Ningyi's complexion changed slightly. He said in a low voice, "The competition in Danwu College is very fierce and cruel. If I had a choice, I really hope you would not enter." After saying that, Ningyi turned around and left. Looking at Ningyi's back, Ning Tang said, "Patriarch, what happened at that time? Why does the Patriarch look a little lost every time the Danwu College is mentioned?" "I don't know the specifics." Ninghai shook his head and immediately said with a gloomy face, "Don't ask about other things first. Keep an eye on the martial arts practice field. Don't let Yunchang hurt any of the Ning family's children." The reason why Yunchang was allowed to behave atrociously in the martial art practice field was because of his identity as a disciple of Danwu College. With the Ning family's current strength, they could not afford to offend a behemoth like Danwu College. "Ningyu, you are Ningyu." In the martial arts practice field, Yunchang's complexion changed slightly when he heard the discussions around him. He said in a low voice, "Originally, I thought it was just a coincidence that you killed Lin Feng. Now it seems that it was not entirely a coincidence. Your strength is enough to compete with an ordinary warrior at the advanced stage of the Hotian realm." After the exchange, just now, Yunchang was secretly shocked. This Ningyu's strength was really strong. He judged that Ningyu had not used his full strength. If he had used his full strength, his strength could not be underestimated. Thinking of this, Yunchang said, "Not bad, not bad. It seems that you are qualified to make me use my strength at the intermediate stage of the Hotian realm." "Huh? Didn't you just say that you would suppress your cultivation to the early stage of the Hotian realm? Why? Could it be that the people of Danwu College will also go back on their words?" Ningyu's eyes opened wide, and his expression was very exaggerated. "Humph. So what if I suppress my cultivation to the early stage of the Hotian realm? Don't tell me that you are still a match for me." Yunchang coldly snorted and said, "I suppress my cultivation to the intermediate stage of the Hotian realm. This is enough to show that I value you. Even if you lose to me, you can still be proud." He is too shameless. going back on his words and making it sound so dignified. "Tisk TSK, who asked him to be the genius of Donwu College. There is no other way. He, just now it was Brother Ningyu who attacked. If Brother Ning Xian also attacked, I am afraid that the genius of Donwu College would also be beaten up. It is hard to say. Later, the genius of Donwu College will definitely use the strength of the early stage of the Hotian realm." The mocking laughter that came from all around caused Yun Chang's complexion to turn ashen. It was extremely unsightly and somewhat angry. When people were angry, they would do some crazy things. Yun Chang coldly said, "Ningyu, I have changed my mind. I will not suppress my cultivation to the intermediate stage of the Hotian realm. I will use my full strength and challenge the entire younger generation of the Ning family." Swoosh! Yun Chang's words made the warriors of the Ning family in the martial arts practice field quiet down. They knew that Yun Chang's cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. His strength was valiant. If he used his full strength, he would be able to sweep away the entire younger generation of the Ning family. "What do you think? Do you dare to accept?" The corners of Yun Chang's mouth curled up slightly, revealing a complacent smile. He slowly swept his gaze across the martial arts practice field and said gloomily, "I thought you would have a lot of backbone. It seems like you are just a wax figure with a silver spear. Nice to look at, but useless." Ning Xian's complexion was very unsightly. He took a step forward and was about to attack. However, Ningyu pressed on his shoulder and said indifferently, "Since you're in such a good mood, why don't I play with you? However, I don't need so many people to deal with you. I can do it myself." Yun Chang was a genius of Donwu College. His cultivation was at the early stage of the Xiantian realm. He definitely had many trump cards. Ningyu naturally would not allow the younger generation of the Ning family to attack. After all, apart from Ning Xian, the younger generation of the Ning family were all at the body-tempering realm. No matter how many body-tempering realm warriors there were, they would not be a match for a Xiantian realm warrior. "You are indeed arrogant. I want to see if you are qualified to be so arrogant," Yin Chang said coldly as he stepped on the ground. Raging primordial qi burst out from his body in an instant, shattering the ground. A slightly thin figure suddenly rose from the ground like a ghost. He clenched his fist, and a wild primordial qi swept out, bringing with it gusts of strong wind. He attacked Ningyu mercilessly. "Oh no! Brother Ningyu, retreat quickly! Brother Ningyu, retreat quickly! You're not a match for him." "Damn it!" Ning Xian cursed in his heart. He held the iron blood sword in his hand, and his eyes turned cold. He was about to attack. Chapter 51. Boom! Seeing the violent Yuan Qi wave from Yun Chang's body, Ningyu's eyes were filled with shock. A Khanate stage cultivator from Donwu College is indeed powerful. In the blink of an eye, Ningyu flicked his sleeve, and a wave of vigorous Yuan Qi suddenly rushed out of his body. At this moment, the surrounding air seemed to be greatly disturbed and was forcefully split in half. Oomph! Child's play. With a cold snort, Yun Chang instantly sped up. His extremely fast figure brought with it a violent Yuan Qi gale. On the Ning family's side, everyone's faces darkened when they felt Yun Chang's powerful Yuan Qi wave. This wave of Yuan Qi had clearly reached the peak of the early Khanate stage. Clap, clap, clap. Clap, clap, clap. In the next instant, Ningyu's fist collided with Yun Chang's, causing a series of muffled sounds. Feeling the explosive sensation from his wrist, Yun Chang's expression changed slightly. He then borrowed the force of the collision and retreated several steps. Swoosh! However, in the next instant, Yun Chang sped up again. His fist tore through the air and suddenly appeared in front of Ningyu's chest. Ningyu fell as if the air around him had been torn apart. A ghostly fist broke through the air and quickly turned into a sharp sword, fiercely chopping towards his head. Middle-grade profound level magic treasure. Seeing Yun Chang take out a magic treasure flying sword, the crowd let out gasps of surprise. Their brows were filled with worry. Profound level magic treasures were extremely heaven-defying. In the hands of a Khanate stage cultivator, they could display 100% of their power. Brother Ning Xian, quickly think of something. If this goes on, Brother Ning, you will be defeated sooner or later. Didn't Yin Chong say that he wants to challenge the entire younger generation of the Ning family? Let's attack together. In the training field, the Ning family's youths were filled with righteous indignation. They all wanted to go up and help. All of you calm down. Ning Xian was still aware of the situation and did not act rashly. He could sense that the fight between Ning Yu and Yun Chong had already surpassed his understanding. Even the slightest yuan qi undulations made him apprehensive. If they would join in, they would probably be repelled before they could even touch Yun Chong. I think you should hurry up and help Brother Yun Xiang. Once he brings out his flying sword, even Tin Ning, you won't be a match for him. On the other side, a Peak Ho Tian warrior from Danwu College sneered. What's the point of letting them do it? Listen to me. Let the older generation of the Ning family take action. Maybe Ning, you will have a chance to live. It's hard to say. Big Brother Yun Xiang is very strong. Among the 20 students who graduated from Danwu College, he could be ranked in the top 5. I'm afraid that even the older generation of the Ning family might not be able to defeat Big Brother Yun Xiang. A mid-grade profound rank magic treasure. The sounds of ridicule from the surroundings didn't affect Ning Yu, and it instead caused him to calm down. In the face of the sharp flying sword, he frowned slightly. Then, his feet touched the ground and his body shot forward. Netherworld Samsara Palm, the second move, lonely name. At the same time, Ning Yu's hands quickly formed a seal. In the next instant, a huge palm print flew through the air and collided with Yun Chong's flying sword. Not good. Yun Chong's face changed drastically when he felt the pressure from the palm print that came from the depths of his soul. His speeding figure quickly stopped and tried to retreat. However, the palm print was extremely fast, and it came crashing down in an instant. In the next instant, an extremely clear, muffled sound rang out. Then, the crowd saw a miserable figure fall from the high platform of the martial arts arena. Crack! Blood gushed out as Yun Chong's body slammed into the ground, creating a clear crack on the bluestone pavement. The cracks continued to spread, and finally, under the tremendous resistance, they vanished into thin air. At this moment, Yun Chong's breath was weak, and his eyes were dim. Rumble. At this moment, the entire martial arts arena fell silent. The 4 martial artists from Danwu College were extremely shocked when they saw the young man standing with his hands behind his back on the martial arts arena, and Yun Chong lying on the ground like a dead dog. Ning Yu, who was in the advanced Hotian realm, had actually defeated Yun Chong, who was in the early Xiantian realm. This kind of combat strength was indeed terrifying. Even if he was compared to Wu Long, who was ranked 4th among the 20 students, he wouldn't be inferior, right? Phew! Seeing that Yun Chong had lost his combat strength, Ning Yu let out a long sigh of relief. His heavy body finally relaxed, and his face was slightly pale. In order to defeat Yun Chong with one move, although he didn't use his strongest combat strength, he still used 80% of his strength. Swoosh! 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 Suddenly, the figures of the 4 Danwu Academy martial artists who followed Yun Chong swept out in an instant, surrounding Ning Yu in the middle. Being surrounded by the 4 Danwu College martial artists, Ning Yu's relaxed, nerves tensed up again. You guys want to fight too? In that case, let's fight to our heart's content today. With a fierce glint in his eyes, Ning Yu took a step back, and the Yuan Qi in the 2 cyclones in his knowledge Qi instantly burst out. Whoosh! Feeling the powerful Yuan Qi in Ning Yu's knowledge Qi, the 4 Danwu College martial artists' expressions changed, and they all took a step back. I didn't expect you to hold back. One of the Peak Hodian realm martial artists stared at Ning Yu and said coldly, judging from the Yuan Qi in your body, you should have reached the Peak Hotian realm. If you want to fight, then fight. What's the point of talking? Ning Yu said coldly. Cough, cough. At this moment, Yun Chong coughed twice and got up from the ground. Staring at Ning Yu, Yun Chong's eyes were filled with malice. Good, very good. Ningyu, you've defeated me. Let's wait and see. With that, Yun Chang turned to leave. Seeing that Yun Chang was about to leave, Ningyu waved his hand and said calmly, "The Ning family is not a place where you can come and go as you please. It's easy to enter, but difficult to leave." Yun Chang stopped and said disdainfully, "What? Can you stop me if I want to leave?" Shrugging, Ningyu said, "You can leave, but you have to leave something behind. You've delayed the Ning family's cultivation time, so you should at least give me some compensation, right?" "Good. Very good. You're the first person who has dared to extort me." Yun Chang reached into his pocket and took out 2 elixirs. These are 2 superior-grade marrow cleansing elixirs. Take them as compensation. Receiving the 2 superior-grade marrow cleansing elixirs, Ningyu threw them into his mouth and chewed them under everyone's shocked gaze. Pursing his lips, Ningyu said, "2 superior-grade marrow cleansing elixirs are not even enough to fill the gaps between my teeth. I didn't expect a martial artist from Danwu College to be so poor. Fine, I won't make things difficult for you. Get lost." Seeing Ningyu's actions, Yun Chang was dumbfounded. Was he still human? How could he swallow 2 superior-grade marrow cleansing elixirs so easily? After a short moment of shock, Yun Chang's face was filled with anger. Ningyu was slapping his face and mocking him. With his character, how could he tolerate it? Chapter 52. Sigh. Glancing at the flying sword in Yun Chang's hand, Ningyu sighed. "The Emerald Cloud Sword is your personal sword. It seems like you like it a lot. How can I take away what you love?" Despite his words, Ningyu reached out his hand to take the flying sword from Yun Chang's hand. "Oomph." The corner of Yun Chang's mouth twitched as he snorted and threw the Emerald Cloud Sword at Ningyu. "Ha!" His right hand grasped the air, and the Emerald Cloud Sword was firmly grasped in his hand. It is indeed a mid-grade mystic class flying sword. It is barely enough as compensation. Ningyu sent his soul power into the flying sword to inspect it. He then waved his hand. "You may leave." "Ningyu, have you lost your mind? Did you not understand what I meant?" Yun Chang was enraged. "As long as you can subdue it, it will be yours. Now you still... How do you know I haven't subdued it?" Before Yun Chang could finish his sentence, Ningyu interrupted him and waved the Emerald Cloud Sword. "You can try and see if it still listens to you." Yun Chang wanted to recall the Emerald Cloud Sword. Whoosh! However, in the next moment, his expression changed and his eyes were filled with disbelief. "My Emerald Cloud Sword, you erased the soul imprint I left in it. How did you do it?" It was no wonder that Yun Chang was shocked. Every mystic class and above would have a soul imprint on it. In order to completely obtain the treasure, the soul imprint must be erased. Otherwise, the treasure would not be able to unleash its full potential. Now that he had lost contact with the Emerald Cloud Sword, it meant that the soul imprint on the sword had been erased by Ningyu. "I forgot to tell you, other than being a martial artist, I am also an alchemist." With a flick of his wrist, a 1-star badge appeared in Ningyu's hand. Looking at the badge in Ningyu's hand, Yun Chang's face turned pale. Possessing a 1-star badge meant that Ningyu was a first-grade alchemist. Impossible. My soul imprint was placed into the Azure Cloud Sword by my master. With your status as a first-grade alchemist, it is impossible for you to erase it. Demonic technique? You must have used a demonic technique. Yun Chang shouted, not daring to believe the reality in front of him. Frowning slightly, Ningyu was a little unhappy. He said coldly, "You want to go back on your words?" Boom! As he spoke, the essence in Ningyu's 2 chi whirlpools surged out in a frenzy, suppressing Yun Chang. To deal with this kind of person, one had to use force and beat him until he was convinced. Puchi! Yun Chang vomited a mouthful of blood and knelt down on one knee. His face was deathly pale. Ningyu didn't just use his yuan qi to suppress it. He also quietly mixed his soul force with his yuan qi, forming a double suppression of yuan qi and soul force. As Yun Chang had already been struck by the Netherworld Samsara Palm's second move, lonely name, his soul was severely injured. Coupled with the pressure of yuan, qi, and soul, he naturally could not withstand it. I will give you one last chance. Scram. Ningyu took a step forward and shouted. Big brother Yun Chong, where there's life, there's hope, one of the peak post-liminary realm martialists said. All right, let's go. The mountains will not change, and the rivers will continue to flow. Ningyu, this enmity is settled. Just wait and see. Yun Chong's heart bled after losing the Azure Cloud Sword. However, he was helpless and could only leave like a stray dog. He was afraid that if he stayed any longer, Ningyu might do something out of line. Swoosh! Seeing Yun Chong leave like a stray dog, the martial arts practice ground quietened down. Kongyu was extremely shocked. No one in the martial arts practice ground understood Yun Chong's strength better than her. He was ranked in the top 1,000 of Danwu College's outer court. Defeating Yun Chong with one move, doesn't this mean that Ningyu's strength is enough to rank in the top 1,000 of the outer court, or even the top 800? As she thought of this, the way Kongyu looked at Ningyu changed. Any martialist who entered the top 1,000 of the outer court would have a high chance of entering the inner court. Big Brother Ningyu is great. Big Brother Ningyu is amazing. Not only is he talented in alchemy, but his martial cultivation is also very strong. Hee. When that genius from Danwu College left just now, his face was as ugly as a pig's liver. After a while, the huge martial arts practice ground finally erupted. The young martialists of the Ning family all looked at Ningyu with undisguised admiration. Big Brother Ning Xian, I have to leave first. Tell everyone that it's best not to leave the Ning family during this time. I'm afraid Yun Chong will attack them. Although Yun Chong did not dare to attack the Ning family openly, he still had to guard against such a possibility. Even a corner dog would jump over a wall, let alone a living person. After thinking for a while, Ningyu continued. Also, remember not to speak of what happened today. If anyone dares to speak of it, don't blame me for not showing mercy. After speaking, Ningyu turned around and walked out of the martial arts practice ground. With Ningyu's powerful soul perception, he had long known that Ning Hai and Ning Tang were outside the martial arts practice ground. He had defeated Yun Chong in one move and obtained the middle grade profound rank flying sword. This matter had to be explained. Coincidentally, he could use this opportunity to give the transcendent grade condensing pill to his father. As for the aftermath of the martial arts practice ground, Ningyu believed that with Ning Xian's ability, he would definitely be able to handle it perfectly. There was no need for him to worry too much. Father. Outside the martial arts practice ground, Ningyu's expression was calm. Not bad. Follow me. Nodding his head, Ning Hai did not ask any more questions and turned to leave. He followed Ning Hai through the backyard and stopped in front of a hidden stone door. There were 2 grooves on the stone door. Without hesitation, Ning Hai placed his palm on the grooves and exerted a little force. Traces of blood flowed from his fingers into the grooves. Creak. As the blood continuously flowed in, a creaking sound was heard a moment later as the thick and heavy stone door slowly opened. Swish! Just as he entered the stone door, Ningyu felt a cold and gloomy aura. This cold and gloomy aura caused him to involuntarily shrink his neck. Taking a deep breath, Ningyu looked ahead, only to see a long and narrow passage in front of him that was somewhat pitch black. After walking for approximately 15 minutes, they reached the end of the passage. The front suddenly became wide and spacious. 2 rows of stone rooms were neatly arranged on both sides, with names written on the stone doors of the stone rooms. Ning Batian, Ning Tao, Ning Ming. Muyan Shan. Ningyu's gaze shifted, finally stopping in front of the stone door where Muyan Shan was. Mother. Staring at the 3 large words on the stone door, Ningyu's mind exploded, causing him to be somewhat absent-minded. Although the owner of this body was not him, the faint feeling that originated from the depths of his heart still made him feel very uncomfortable. Ever since he could remember, Ningyu had never seen his mother. Thus his memory of Mu Yunshan's face was extremely vague. In the past, Ningyu had also asked about it, but Ning Hai had always found an excuse to avoid it. This time, for some unknown reason, Ning Hai had actually taken the initiative to bring him here. Chapter 53. In the stone room, a coffin lay quietly in the center. There was nothing else around it. Taking a deep breath, Ning Hai stepped forward and pressed a round button on the coffin. Ka-ka. Shortly after, the coffin slowly opened. Ning Hai took out a golden box from the coffin. The box was engraved with unknown patterns. There were locks on all 6 sides of the box, making it look extremely mysterious. Seeing the golden box, Ning Yu's heart skipped a beat. He suppressed the restlessness in his heart and asked curiously, "What is this?" "This is what your mother left for you." Staring at the golden box, Ning Hai revealed a sad and lonely expression. "Mother," Ning Yu said. "Yes." Ning Hai nodded and said, "Now it's time to give it to you." Having said that, Ning Hai took out 6 keys and opened the golden box. Hua! As soon as the box was opened, a golden light shot out from inside, followed by a majestic wave of essence qi. This wave of essence qi caused Ning Yu's heart to tremble a little. He felt a sense of fear. What is this thing? Taking the box, Ning Yu looked inside. Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique. Looking at the words on the slightly yellowed book in the box, Ning Yu's heart could not help but tremble again. The Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique was the treasure of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple. Why was it here? Could it be that Mu Yinshan was someone from the Supreme 9 Purities Temple? Right. The Palace Lord of the 9 Purities Temple in space has the surname Mu. Could Mu Yinshan be her daughter? Frowning slightly, Ning Yu had some understanding of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple in his previous life. He knew that the Palace Lord was an extraordinary person, and his cultivation had already reached perfection. This is the cultivation technique your mother left for you. She said that when your cultivation reaches the Hotian stage, she can give it to you, Ning Hai said. Father, is mother a member of the Supreme 9 Purities Temple? Ning Yu asked calmly. Waving his hand, Ning Hai said, "Don't ask about your mother's identity for now. Once you have cultivated this part of the Supreme 9 Purities Sword Technique to the extreme, you will naturally know everything about your mother. Train here for the next few days. You can only leave when you've mastered the first form of the 9 Heavens Sword Technique." Then, Ning Hai turned around and left the stone room. As for Ning Yu, he sat cross-legged and slowly activated the 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique. There are only 6 styles? Ning Yu frowned as he flipped open the sword formula. Through the memories of his previous lifetime, he knew that the Supreme 9 Clarity Sword Technique had a total of 12 moves, and when cultivated to the limit, it was comparable to a top king rank martial technique. Right now, there were only 6 moves, and their power was equivalent to an Earth rank upper grade martial technique. It just so happens that I want a mystic rank middle grade flying sword from Yinxiang. I can use it to cultivate the Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique. With a flick of his wrist, the mystic rank middle grade flying sword, the Green Cloud Sword, flew out and hovered above Ning Yu's head. He separated a bit of his soul force and entered the Green Cloud Sword, leaving a soul mark inside. Ning Yu did not cultivate the sword technique at the first possible moment. Instead, he flipped open the book and memorized the mental cultivation method and the accompanying diagrams of the 6 moves. Soon after, he flicked his finger and a scarlet flame gushed out, burning the book into nothingness. The first 6 moves of the Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique was an excerpt, not the original, so there was no need to keep it. In the next moment, Ning Yu operated his Yuan Qi according to the mental cultivation method of the first move, entrusted it to the Green Cloud Sword, and began to cultivate the sword technique. Swoosh! The Green Cloud Sword flew back and forth in the stone room at an extremely fast speed. The Supreme 9 Clarity Supreme Sword Technique really lives up to its name. It is indeed a little difficult to cultivate. Taking a deep breath, Ning Yu's drive surged. I can even successfully cultivate a cultivation method, like the Spirit Transformation method. I don't believe that a mere sword technique can stump me. Rustle. The Green Cloud Sword flew left and right in the stone room, its speed doubled. "Get in!" With a low shout, Ningyu gathered his yuan qi on the green cloud sword and pointed it forward. Bang! As the green cloud sword swept out, the surrounding air was compressed and forcefully split into two. A low muffled sound rang out. Immediately, Ningyu's eyes widened, and his face was filled with disbelief. The green cloud sword can't even withstand this pressure. Looking at the cracked body of the green cloud sword, Ningyu was dumbfounded. "Forget it. I'll just go buy a flying sword. I don't have any suitable weapons anyway. Transcendent grade condensing essence pill. I can only give it to father next time." Shaking his head, Ningyu stood up and was about to leave the stone room. However, he seemed to have thought of something and did not leave immediately. Instead, he stayed for another day. Ninghai had said that he would leave when he mastered the first form of the sword technique. If he left so early, wouldn't he be a monster among monsters? A day later, after tidying up his clothes, Ningyu left the stone room. Could he have mastered the first form of the sword technique? On the other side of the stone room, Ninghai frowned in confusion. Mu Yinshan once said that even the peerless geniuses of the Supreme Nine Purities Temple would need a week to master the first form. When this time is over, I must have a good talk with you, I can't bite off more than I can chew. Shaking his head, Ninghai turned around and left. As for Ningyu, he turned left and right in Tianxian City and walked into a shop named Supreme Pavilion. This shop was located in the golden area of Tianxian City. Not only did it sell elixirs and pill furnaces, but it also sold some high-grade magical weapons. Suddenly, Ningyu's heart skipped a beat, and he turned his head around. Behind him, a short and skinny old man said with a smile, "Young master, may I know what you're looking for?" Ningyu was slightly surprised. If it wasn't for his powerful soul perception, he would not have noticed the old man. From this, it could be seen that the old man was definitely an expert. Seeing Ningyu's reaction, the old man was even more shocked. He had used a technique to hide his aura, but Ningyu still discovered him. Not simple. The corner of the old man's mouth rose as he introduced himself. "Niehua, the shopkeeper of this shop." "So it's shopkeeper Nia. My surname is Ning." Ningyu nodded and said, "I want to buy a suitable weapon." Niehua said, "Could it be that young Master Ning wants to buy a flying sword?" Raising his brows, Ningyu looked up to the old man again and said, "That's right. I do want to buy a flying sword." Niehua smiled and said, "The magical weapons and flying sword are all on the second floor. If young Master Ning is interested, I'll bring you there to take a look." Following that, Ningyu followed Niehua to the second floor. The second floor of the Supreme Pavilion was slightly more spacious, and there were various display booths arranged in an orderly manner. The display booths were divided into 4 areas: heaven, earth, mysterious, and yellow, which corresponded to the 4 grades of magical weapons. Looking at the display booths of earth and heaven, Ningyu frowned and asked, "Elder Nya, does the Supreme Pavilion also have earth and heaven magical weapons for sale?" Earth magical weapons were extremely powerful, but they were also very expensive. An ordinary Xiantian realm martial artist would not be able to unleash their full power. As for heaven magical weapons, the price was even more shocking. Those who owned them were all aristocratic families. Chapter 54. He, young Master Ning. The premium pavilion naturally has earth-grade and heaven-grade magic treasures for sale. Smiling, Niehua said, "If you need, I can transfer them from the headquarters." Pointing at the earth-grade and heaven-grade booths, Ningyu said, "Aren't the magic treasures in those 2 booths earth-grade and heaven-grade?" Looking at where Ningyu was pointing, Niehua said with a smile, "Those 2 booths do indeed have earth-grade and heaven-grade magic treasures, but they are all broken and can't display even 10% of their power." Ningyu didn't stay too long at the yellow-grade booths and headed for the mystic, earth-grade, and heaven-grade booths. The Emerald Cloud Sword was a mystic mid-grade flying sword and couldn't even withstand the powerful pressure of the Supreme Nine Purity Sword Art. let alone an ordinary yellow-grade flying sword. After staying at the mystic booth for a while, Ningyu shook his head and headed for the Earth-grade booths again. Flash rune sword. He stopped in front of an Earth-grade booth. Inside the booth was a broken flying sword with only the blade and no hilt. The body of the sword was extremely plain, and there were even spots of rust on it. Niehua said, "Young Master Ning has a good eye. This is the flash rune sword. If it wasn't damaged, it would at least be an Earth-grade mid-grade flying sword. What a pity. Such a good flying sword, but the hilt is broken and its power has dropped a lot. If young Master Ning needs it, I can sell it to you at a lower price." "How much?" Ningyu asked without batting an eyelid. Seeing that Ningyu was a little tempted, Niehua said, 100 high-grade essence crystals. "That's too expensive." Niehua thought that Ningyu would haggle, but who would have thought that Ningyu would move and head for the heaven-grade booth? Niehua had no choice but to follow. Soul-breaking sword. On the heaven-grade booth, a blue sword lay quietly inside. From the outside, this soul-breaking sword was in perfect condition. The blade was crystal clear, without a trace of dust or rust. Ningyu's soul moved and quietly separated a wisp of soul force to explore the flying sword. When the soul force entered the flying sword, it was like a stone sinking into the ocean. There was not the slightest ripple. It can actually devour soul power. Ningyu was extremely shocked. Up until now, this absolute soul sword was the second magic treasure that he had encountered that could devour soul power. The first was the devouring jade bangle he won from Zhang Wenyo. "Shopkeeper Nia, how much is this soul-breaking sword?" Ningyu asked. Niehua revealed a troubled expression when he heard this, and he said, "Young Master Ning, this broken soul sword might be slightly more expensive." Ningyu frowned and asked, "How much?" "I can't determine the grade of this flying sword, but I can't carve a soul imprint into it." Niehua said, "If you wanted 500 high-grade origin crystals, it would be strange if you could imprint your soul imprint inside, because it is a devouring flying sword." Ningyu secretly criticized in his heart, but he was also a little tempted. The devouring flying sword's power was needless to say. With a devouring flying sword, one could contend with a martial artist with a higher soul force. In other words, between two true martial realm martial artists, one had a second-grade soul force, and the other had a third-grade soul force. Then a second-grade soul force martial artist with a devouring flying sword could contend with a third-grade soul force martial artist. The price of an earth-grade devouring flying sword was comparable to a sky-grade flying sword. Ordinary martial artists only knew that this flying sword could not be imprinted with a soul imprint, and they could not differentiate between a devouring flying sword and a normal flying sword. Little did they know that in order to imprint a soul imprint on a devouring flying sword, one had to refine a peak 4th-grade elixir, the soul imprint elixir. This flying sword should be a sky-grade flying sword, but the array inside has not been activated. If I can obtain it, not only will I be able to smoothly cultivate the supreme 9-purity sword art, I will also have nothing to fear even if I encounter martial artists who specialize in soul force. Forcefully suppressing the passion in his eyes, Ningyu made up his mind that he must find a way to obtain this absolute soul sword. "Shopkeeper Nia, this flying sword is not a sky-grade artifact at all. Furthermore, one cannot imprint a soul imprint on it, so it's not worth 500 high-grade essence crystals." Ningyu bargained. "How about this 200 high-grade essence crystals? I'll buy it." Niehua gritted his teeth and said, "Young Master Ning, 300 high-grade essence crystals, this is the minimum. Young Master Ning, we've also appraised this flying sword. Although it's not a sky-grade artifact, its hardness is comparable to an ordinary earth-grade artifact. 300 high-grade essence crystals is a fair price." Seeing Ningyu shake his head, Niehua hurriedly said, "An undamaged low-grade earth-grade artifact also costs 10,000 high-grade essence crystals. 300 high-grade essence crystals to buy the absolute soul sword. You're not losing out, you're even making a profit." After a slight pause, Ningyu said, 300 high-grade essence crystals is fine." When Ningyu and Niehua entered the second floor, a group of 3 people entered the Supreme Great Pavilion. 2 of the young men were the Zhao family's genius, Zhao Xian, and the Wang's genius, Wang Tao. The other man was the Danwu College's genius, Wu Long. Wang Tao smiled. Young Master Long, this is the Supreme Great Pavilion. You can definitely buy the elixirs you need here. After Wu Long entered Tianxin City, the Zhao family and the Wangs contacted him immediately and tried everything to rope him in. To be able to rope in a Danwu College's genius, it was worth it no matter how much they spent. Wu Long said calmly, "The Supreme Grade Pavilion's headquarters is in the capital. Although this is just a branch, there should be third-grade essence condensing pills here." Wu Long also had the capital to be arrogant. In the outer yard of Danwu College, he was ranked 895 and had a cultivation base of early-stage Khanate realm. "Young Master Long, let's go to the 3rd floor. They sell some elixirs there," Zhao Xian said. Thud. At this moment, Ningyu walked down from the 2nd floor. He was surprised to see Zhao Xian and Wang Tao not far away from him. But soon, Ningyu's face darkened. Wang Tao and Zhao Xian were involved in the poisonous blood powder that he was poisoned with. Lin Feng had been killed, and the 2 of them were still at large. "Since I've bumped into you, I'll collect some interest first." Ningyu's lips curled up, and he thought to himself. Seeing Ningyu coming down from the 2nd floor, Zhao Xian and Wang Tao looked at each other and could not help but take a few steps back. They had not forgotten how ruthless Ningyu was when he killed Lin Feng in the Tianxin Square. Ningyu, why are you here?" Zhao Xian and Wang Tao's tone hardened when they remembered that their cultivation had reached the peak of the Hotian intermediate stage, and there was a genius from Danwu College standing beside them. The Supreme Grade Pavilion is not a place that anyone can come to. Ningyu cupped his fists and said, "If vermin like you can come here, why can't I?" Zhao Xian was enraged. "Who are you calling vermin?" "Ningyu, don't think that you could do whatever you want just because you killed Lin Feng. Today, I'll let you know that there's always someone better than you." Zhao Xian and Wang Tao clenched their fists tightly, surrounding Ningyu in the middle. "We could trample you to death in the past, and we can do it again now." After Lin Feng died in battle, the Zhao family and the Wangs spent a lot of money to buy elixirs and magical weapons to enhance Zhao Xian and Wang Tao's strength. Now, their cultivation had reached the peak of the Hotian intermediate stage. Their combined strength was comparable to Lin Feng in the past. You're tuning into the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.